Hello, everybody. Pop culture curator here. I hope everyone is doing well. I know there's some people that came early that have been patiently waiting in the chat, and I want to especially thank you because that's very kind of you. Um, I apologize for missing last week, Gilligan's Island. I was a little under the weather, but tonight we'll catch up where we left off, I promise. And so, first, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Looks like we're already getting a wonderful turnout. Phantom Boomer says, first like. Thank you, Phantom
Right.
Boomer. Yes, that reminds me
And
if you
just so you
enjoy.
know, I identify as the first person to like the stream. I identify it, so therefore it's true.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Gorilla. Yes, and thank you, Phantom Boomer, and also for everyone. If you do enjoy the stream, consider hitting the like button, maybe subbing my channel if you haven't already, and hit the alert bell notification so that you will know next time we have our streams. And if you're watching this on the rerun, I hope you enjoy it, and welcome to my channel. And we have Mikey here, second like. Thank you, Mikey. And Jim's Landscape. Hello, what's up? Good to see you, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
And Mikey says, hi, Jim. And we have Mikey on the panel. And Phantom Boomer says, hi, Mikey, Sue's poor. Hi, Jim's Landscape. All right. Yeah, everybody's saying hello to each other. Looks like Mikey Sue's poor says hello, Boomer. Mikey Sue says, Gorillas and Mizo Jim are on their way. Okay. Yeah, I think he just finished up a stream. Mikey Sue's poor says Mikey equals Gilligan. Mikey Sue's poor. I've had my moments, LOL.
I have.
Oh, that's quite. Haven't we all, right?
Oh.
And
for
Jim's
sure.
Landscape says, "Hey, Phantom Boomer," and Mikey Sue's, and Mikey says, "Yeah, my dad was skipper most of the days."
He was.
And
Oh,
this
so he
message-
smacks you upside the head a lot?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I did a stupid thing, of course. Maybe not all the time. No, he was very. He treated me very well. Fairly disciplined. Very. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
very lucky.
Yeah, very lucky.
Mikey says, "Hello, Pop. Always good to see you, my friend." Likewise, Mikey. Likewise. And Mikey says, "Imagine if the castaways are saved, then shipped off to Russia." Yeah, back during the Cold War days, that probably would not be a good thing. I love the castaways. I'd hate to see what the Russians would have done to them.
Yeah, not pleasant.
No, it's not. And they're such friendly, nice people, especially the professor. I'd hate to see what they do to him. Cool, says Mikey.
All right.
I
Well,
think it's such
Professor,
good.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Professor
girl.
might have gotten treated better because he's a scientist, so they might have forced him to work on their nuclear program to get more
Well,
powerful
yes.
bombs.
They would definitely force him to work. Yes.
And the Howells, I give him 2 minutes in Siberian or in what would the gulags there, and that's just because that's about how much time they'd be taking stripping Mrs. Howell of all her jewels and stuff.
Honestly, I think what they might do with the Howells is hold them hostage for money, knowing that
Yes.
they're worth so much money and they're so popular and they're like some of the biggest well-known millionaires in America. I think they would find a way to profit from that.
I think they would too, because Thurston Howe was actually one of the supposedly most richest persons around. So for sure
Right.
they would have done that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
And Mike says, I think the second episode is where Gilligan's hit by a coconut and his head teeth become a radio when he opens in his mouth. Very similar to that, Mikey.
Oh, cool.
Ola Greg says, hello, everyone. Hello, Ola Greg. Great to see you. Mad Scientist says, good evening, Mad Scientist. Such a good friend. I'm glad you can make it.
Hello,
And
Mad
join us.
Scientist.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy yourself tonight, Mad Scientist. Phantom Boomer says, Ola Greg and Mad Scientist. Stream Elements. Hail, Stream Elements. And Ola Greg says, hey, Phantom. Ola Greg says, 60s comedy in Russia would be nice, not serious. Yeah, you're right about that. And I want to especially say hello to my fellow panelists, Gorillas, Random Thoughts. How are you doing tonight, Gorilla?
I'm doing all right. A little bit tired, but after last night,
That was, another stream that went on for almost 4 hours. I apologize for that.
Oh no, the 4 hours was what got me. Is item one. No, but I actually ate something tonight. I actually made something I haven't made in a long time.
What's
I made
that?
mac and cheese with peas and tuna.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun
Ooh.
the other night, Yeah, and I slept well, so thank you.
Well,
Oh, great.
You.
Yeah. So we also have a new guest on this stream, Gilligan's Island stream on the panel, which is Mikey. Welcome, Mikey.
Oh, thank you guys.
Are you a Gilligan's Island fan?
Big, huge.
Then you come to the right place.
Oh
And
yes.
that sounds delicious. Mac and cheese with peas and tuna. Heck yeah, I'd be able to do that.
Oh yeah, it's good. It's filling and it's healthy ish.
Ish, yeah. Well, they got the tuna, so we'll say that, and the peas. Oily Greg says they are trapped in the 60s. Sorry, I forgot to mute my phone.
I like that though. Come in, Captain Kirk.
I guess Jedi Bill's having a stream.
Oh yeah, karaoke Wednesday.
Yeah, he had a stream last night too. Oily Greg says they are trapped in a 60s comedy world. Yes, they are. And a 4-hour stream. Right, exactly.
Oh, hey,
But
Paul.
unfortunately, as we all know, they're stuck there for 15 years, sadly, to say. Yes, Mikey.
I just wanted to tell you, I told Gorillas and Resolute Germ earlier about this, but today was my first day I got to check out Bird of Prey's, thing that he's doing on Star Trek Enterprise. And the next episode they did was Marauders. So he said, Mikey, he says, since it's your first time, you need to sing the Faith from the Heart theme song.
God, did
He
you
got
know it?
hazed. He got
Yeah,
hazed.
I got hazed, but I got great praise at the end because
Yeah.
they said I actually sang the song right.
Yeah, he thought
I
they were
said-
doing like a review, did you? You thought they were doing a review, not a watch party.
Yeah, I was a little nervous, but and then I told him at the end. I said, "But Rod Stewart said it better."
Well, you
I
did
gotta laugh
better than
for
I
that.
did because I would have been what song? Because I didn't watch the show.
Oh,
It's called
So-
Faith
from
from
the
the
Heart.
Heart.
It's called Faith from the Heart.
Well-
Rod
Well,
Stewart
I
sang
watched
it
I watched
originally.
part of the first episode, and I remember that I didn't like the beginning because it wasn't like Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I know people out there that do like it, so that's fine.
Well, it's just diehard people that, like myself, that were bored with everything else that was on TV at the time, and then they had they put on Star Trek Enterprise, and I said, "Oh, this looks cool," because Scott Bakula and Quantum Leap and all that stuff. So
Oh, I was a big fan of Scott Bakula and Quantum Leap. I just didn't like the format of the show. On the first episode, as soon as they showed the man and the women showering together, I tuned out and never went back because that's not true Trek. Because every time everybody that knows me knows that, and I've said this before, but every time they made a new spin-off of Trek, it was worse and worse. And by the time I saw two crew members showering together, I was like, nope, I'm out. That's not that's not Star Trek.
Yeah, the decontamination chamber. Is that what
Sure,
you're
whatever
talking
excuse the lazy writers can come up with just to get people
about?
to do that. That's not Trek.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, they lost a viewer there, and I doubt I'll ever go. And besides, anybody, even fans, you can ask them about Enterprise, and they'll say, "Well, it gets good around the 3rd or 4th season." No, I'm not going to stick with any show that takes that long to get good.
Season 1 and 2 weren't terrible. They're pretty average there, but then but the thing is, season 3 was really really good. So people feel that season 1 and 2 got brought down, is what it was.
Well, but but that still means that 1 and 2 were lackluster, right?
Well,
to a degree they were. To a degree they were. But
that's
there
like
were-
TNG. It was almost impossible to get through the first season. It was so bad.
Oh yeah, I agree on that one.
Well, I feel it's more like you had the Doomsday Machine right next to like the Way to Eden kind of deal, or Miri, or the Children Shall Lead.
I think it's more like you get an entire season of The Way of Eden, and then you get an entire season of The Alternative Factor. Then you get an entire season of Spock's Brain, and then you finally get the Doomsday Machine.
I don't know. Spock's Brain wasn't that bad.
I know. A lot of people say it's the worst, but no way. There's definitely worse episodes than Spock's Brain. I mean, it's silly. Most people, you know what? And what's sad for them is because they forgot about the time when it was done, and they don't like what the women do and the way when they're treated in that episode. So that they use that as a reason to not like it. So when she says brain, what is brain? Yeah, people just don't like that line.
Yeah. Hey, where's Pluxer at? I went to the liquor store just for him.
Yeah, where is
Bloxard,
Fox?
were you out there? Shout out Bloxard. If you're out there, maybe you can make it.
Yeah,
I
come on, Fox.
even pulled out another special shot glass just for him.
I don't. Is he in
Yes,
our
we need
stream?
one.
Is he in our streaming group? I did post a link in the streaming group. I don't know if he's on my Twitter or streaming group or
I
whatever it's called.
Yeah, I thought he was, especially after the 4 hour thing
No,
we
I could
did.
do that. That if you want to get the
Maybe.
stuff pulled up.
Well, and maybe I don't know if he's set his alerts
Oh,
for my channel.
hey,
Yay!
hey!
Hey, what do you know?
We called him
Hey,
out.
old Bloxard, good to see you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
we-
Bloxard, perfect timing. Gorilla was just wondering about you.
Yeah, we both
yeah.
were.
I went to the liquor store just for you.
Just for
Ah.
you.
Airlock is in dire need of maintenance. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Cause I went and picked
There
up
it
some
is.
stuff.
Hail.
Right. And Bloxard says airlock is in dire need of maintenance. Better hold
Yeah,
your
there we
breath
go.
for a long time.
Yeah.
Long time.
Oh,
You know
Okay,
what?
so-
One thing. Oh, I just want to say real quickly. The one thing I enjoyed the most about Gilligan's Island. Now, it might have been an undertone, okay, but when you had Gilligan and you had him surrounded by, Ginger and Marianne, you know that Gilligan wanted to do something with either one of them, but was just too shy to ask, and you knew it was there. You could feel that underlying tension every episode that those three were ever together, in a
Well-
scene or whatever.
well, Gilligan, I classify him as a idiotic genius.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah. And Proxy says, "Speak of the devil, please no extraneous activities." Well, I already got a board. I already got a board waiting for the item one, which I
Well,
don't know
and
if we need.
Go ahead, Gorilla.
I said I don't know if we need the disclaimer there, but we should probably get her loaded up.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say that. And yeah, there'll be some extraneous activities. Gorilla's going to be exercising his drinking arm tonight. So there you go, right?
So there we go.
Yeah, I got lift something. I have to do some weightlifting here.
That's the way to do it.
You said the first one. Topic
No.
diligence. He just said it.
Yeah,
You gotta
just a
go,
sec.
man.
Just a sec. But I got this. This here. This is tequila rose.
Yay!
They're
Oh,
That's
so
good
you're
stuff.
mixing it yourself. I thought it was already mixed.
And then you got your Baileys there.
Bailey's.
Bailey's.
You
Bailey's
mix it-
Irish cream, right?
Yeah, then you mix it together there.
Wow.
Yes.
I don't know anything about mixing mixed drinks, but it sounds yummy.
Oh yeah, you just pour half the shot glass of tequila rose and half the shot glass of Bailey's there. But according to Pop's, was it the fourth rule?
The
I
panel?
gotta keep it PG, so I can't name the name of the drink. Pop already knows the name of the drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
cover that on the disclaimer, which we're going to cover.
Yes.
Let's hold on. I'm going to go ahead and show this. Bloxer says stream disclaimer alert.
Oh,
Item 1 topic diligence. Item 2
All right,
opinions
just
are
a sec.
just
I got my special prescription shot glass there. And it's prescribed by Dr. Inebriate, very inebriated. You know, I take
Oh.
one by mouth, repeat it until intoxicated. Quantity as many as you can stomach. Expires Monday morning. Refills sure. And it's no, the prescription is very inebriated. And the doctor is Dr. Harold Feelgood.
Oh, so it doesn't have a lid. Okay, but it looks like a medicine bottle. That's cool. Is it glass or plastic?
Plastic.
Porcelain.
Porcelain.
Wow, interesting.
Nice.
Item 2 opinions are just that. And Bloxer says item 3 this is a pop culture curator stream. It's my stream, but it's all of our streams because you're all here to enjoy it with me. Bloxer item 4 the panel. And Bloxer says listing of topics does not constitute declaration of extraneous events, so secret actions are all on you. So yeah, I guess I need to get a waiver for everyone to sign, right?
Well, Wednesday nights were pretty good, except for at the beginning when we were sitting here bullshitting while people come in. So
Yeah, that happens, which is totally fine. And so when everybody says or saying hello to each other, it's totally
did you get the
expected.
poll put in the chat?
Yes, I did. Everybody, there was.
All
Thank you for the reminder. There was a poll in the chat. Please vote on these episodes. If you have not seen them in a long time, you may want to wait till the end of the stream to vote, or before you're leaving. Unless you've seen them recently, then you can vote now if you'd like. I just finished watching them just before the stream, so they're still fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Without further ado, welcome to the show. Any and all opinions are welcome. However, we ask that you give your preliminary opinion at the beginning and save your final opinion for the end of the stream when we vote. We welcome questions throughout the viewing, but we ask that you don't come on the panel to just pick the presentation apart. If you did not like the video at all, please join from the chat and share your thoughts and vote in the poll. Panel members, please remember to stay on topic as much as possible. Also, be polite and respectful to others. Please keep your language appropriate for the rating of the video we are covering. And another addition that I'm going to add is I do encourage people when they come to my channel to post links to their channels. But if you're going to post a video that's on another location, please don't do that at the beginning of the video here, because that's asking people to leave here and go watch that instead. So if you're going to post links to other videos, please wait till the end of the stream for that. And with that, thank you and enjoy the stream. Okay. Does anybody have anything to add before we get started?
Now, well, the first one there, we already know that it's the Russian cosmonauts one. I think as we go throughout the reviewing the whole episode there, I do not think that they would have acted the way that either side would have acted the way that they do.
Well, definitely it's not as realistic. You know, it's a comedy.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know,
especially the language. They would never be speaking English around those Americans.
Yeah, and one of the nice things that will been nice about this, like every episode we've gone through, yes, they did that. They decided to go on the comedic way for this episode, but each story they could have just as easily made it like kind of like a drama, where they're shipwrecked and made it like a drama, and changed little bits and pieces here, but you still could have had the same core story.
Well, yeah, a lot of Gilligan's Island episodes that you could turn into drama. You know, like where they run out of food, they run out of water.
Yeah,
they're held hostage by the Japanese soldier.
Or like our second, like this would. That's the one thing I like. It's like I kind of wish, and I know we'd have to find the right writers. Maybe with the strike we could find them, because all the lazy fucks are decide to get off their fat asses and start and march in a circle with the sign. But I would almost like to see like if they could get permission from what's his face's the guy who wrote Gilligan's Island, and have
Sherwood
like
Schwartz, but he's dead now, so it would have to be his estate, his son.
Estate. But ask them if they could take the Gilligan's Island stories and write them as dramas, and have so we'd have like our old comedic, funny Gilligan's Island, but we'd also have it wouldn't be a parody, but like a secondary show of Gilligan's Island, where it'd be a drama based. I think that'd be really cool.
Right, but keep in mind now, with modern day Hollywood, it would be written for quote modern audiences, so we'd get a lot of race and gender swapping. No, so I don't know if I would approve for that.
Well, that's why I said competent writers. All the ones that are doing that.
No. The writers don't matter. That's a requirement from Hollywood. That comes from upstairs.
Not necessarily there, but if you get the writers don't.
What you have to do is when you if the Sherwood if you're actually discussing with Sherwood Schwartz's estate and his sons, you would have to part of the contract, because like we've all saw what they did to the guy who did Lord of the Rings. They crapped on that, and then now they did the same thing with Dr. Seuss. Everything that they've gotten permission from the estate, they've ruined. We've seen that. So what they would have to do is, which, and I'm not saying I want to see this because I don't, but if they were to make a new Gilligan's Island, it would have to be in the stipulation that they cannot go for this new Hollywood woke agenda. No race and gender swapping. The characters would have to be cast using the same lens and eye and view as it did in the original series.
I agree.
But I just don't think they'll do that.
No, they won't.
Everybody would be boycotting. All the people on Twitter would be up on arms.
Yes.
Yeah,
all the hateful, losers, right?
But if we could get that expectation and that guarantee there, I still think that'd be a good idea if we could get that guarantee in there.
Yes. Oh yeah, it would be a make or break situation. If you don't have the guarantee, then it's no deal. Simple as that.
Absolutely true.
All right, well, let's get this rolling here, and I'll catch us
Rock
up
and
on the
roll.
channel.
All
All
right.
right,
Well, let's
Phantom
get
Boomer
caught up.
said,
Yeah, let's go ahead and get caught up, and
yeah,
then I'll
yeah. If
start
you want to
episode one.
if you want to pull it up, I'll read through the chat here.
Thank you,
Phantom
sir.
says, "Howdy, Plaxord. Plaxord coils ropes in anticipation of departure from dock. Longest 3-hour tour of their life, I'll tell you that." And Plaxord says, "Hail,
That it
Phantom
is.
Boomer. Captain Infinity gives us the bat symbol. I
Hello,
think that's a
Captain
bat
Infinity.
symbol.
Glad you could join
Or
us,
is it,
sir.
Hello,
or is that a
Captain.
purple crab, or is that a cat, or I don't know. I
It
got to
looks
pull
like
this up.
a robot. It looks like a robot head.
Oh, is it a
I could be
robot?
wrong. Yeah, it looks like a robot
Oh,
head.
it looks like an 8-bit video game character from like the
Yes.
1980s, but I'm not sure which game.
Yeah, maybe I should put my glasses on.
I'm not sure, or it could be 16-bit, small.
Yeah, and Jim
I'm not
says,
sure
"Hey,
if it's
Captain."
from a specific game. Sorry, go
Yeah,
ahead.
Yeah,
Jim says, "Hey, Captain Infinity." Captain says, "Jim."
Cap.
Phantom Boomer says, "Cap," and Captain says, "Boomer." All right,
All
got
right, here we go.
you got subtitles?
Your subtitles should be set. Let me make sure. Yes.
Oh, and
And
Pop. I'm sorry.
yes.
Pop. Yeah, please don't have me sing the opening theme song.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask you on that. Since
No,
this
I don't
is-
want to get
this-
copyright stricken. So no, we've even said in the past that we wish we could, but no original copyrighted music on here because I don't want to take the chance with the YouTube censors. So,
Right,
but I appreciate your kindness and offering to do it though.
Did I offer?
Pop, that's just an easy way to fight the copyright. Just tell them we're hazing the new guy and may have seen the theme song for our review. You got to put that in big gold letters.
Right, and as we know, I'm sure CBS has a sense of humor, and they'll completely understand that, right?
They will.
Yeah, it depends on who looks at it.
So our first episode is Nyet, Yet, Not Yet, which aired at November 18th, 1965. And the plot seems to be 2 Soviet cosmonauts land on the island, way off course from their target. The castaways hope to leave the island with them when they call their submarine, but the cosmonauts have other nefarious ideas. And we open with our usual heroes and the minnow.
And 3-hour tour.
Darn it.
And we get our cast introduction.
The
And the Professor Marianne.
Wife. Then he got to and the rest because they're assholes in season 1. All right.
Oh, and there's a trivia question. Remember that the pilot episode of this series didn't say Professor and Marianne. Originally said and the rest. And so
Well, the whole first season.
Gilligan,
Yeah.
It wasn't the pilot, it was the whole first season.
That was my what do you call it? Not the subtle, subliminary F for the entire first season, or whatever. What's the word?
Right.
That might not be
Right.
the word I'm looking for.
and Bob Denver got pissed.
Yeah, it's Bob Denver who fixed it.
Well, what happened was, remember now, we mentioned that when we discussed the first season a few times, but the actors that play Professor and Marianne were hired at the last minute. So by the time they were hired, they had already made the opening credits. So that's the only reason why they're not in there. Nobody did anything out of disrespect. It's just that the network did not like the. It was a teacher and 2 secretaries in the original pilot. And if you go back and you'll watch our video where we covered the first pilot, the network didn't like that and said, "No, I want you to recast those people." So they did, and they made the title. So that's the only reason why Professor and Marianne aren't there, is they hadn't been hired yet. But yes, Bob Denver saw to it that when season 2 aired, that they were included in the new title.
Which is great. Because that's the title I'm used to. That's the title I'm used to for sure.
So
There's
we
Alan
open
Haley
up.
Jr.
Yes. So we open up with the boys' hut, and we have Skipper and Gilligan asleep, and we have Skipper unfortunately snoring, and Gilligan. And it's funny too because this ends up a total role reversal in the next episode. So I thought that's kind of interesting because the next episode Gilligan's going to end up keeping Skipper awake.
Yeah.
So, ooh, sounds like a jet plane with asthma. He says. Now remember, everybody, I have to skip so many seconds, so there's going to be a lot of jokes that we're going to miss.
Yeah.
So I encourage you to, if you get a chance, please watch this and enjoy it yourself. Because the
Yeah.
last thing I want to do is ruin it. I want to. I'm here to share with everyone how much we enjoy it. Go ahead, Gorilla. Sorry.
Yeah. When I first heard that, I was like, wait a second, did they have jet planes in the '60s? Then I remembered. Oh yeah, the Germans created the jet planes in late '44, early '45. A
Yes.
little too late. A little too late. If they would have
Right.
had those a couple years earlier, it would have been a game changer.
Right. We definitely had jet planes in the '60s.
Yeah, I
He
forgot.
says
Yeah, I forgot about that little tidbit.
he says
And
I'm
here's where
awake,
Gilligan's wake.
Gilligan. Yeah.
Right. And here's where Gilligan is waking up Skipper because he sees the light in the sky, and Gilligan thinks it's a UFO.
Yeah,
And of
that's
course,
a
Skipper.
real slow falling shooting star that Skipper thinks it is.
Right. That's what Skipper says. You will be up to look at a falling star. And of course, Gilligan is exaggerating, and his mind's going crazy. And he thinks it's somebody from Mars. And now we cut to the next day out in Lagoon. Looks like we got some fog in this episode, or at least in the beginning. They must have shot this early in the morning since it's a. Remember, this is downtown Los Angeles.
I think we caught it just at the switch.
The fading in,
Yeah.
that could be
Or
it.
screw the smog.
I don't see the fog now.
Yeah, no, they took it out.
So here we have our Russian cosmonauts um, in their ship, and we have Skipper and Gilligan walking around on the set. Remember, this is inside the soundstage, and you can tell by the lighting that is definitely in the soundstage, not outside. And I'm pointing this out for a reason. So Gilligan, how can you possibly see? Easy way. So he's basically asking Gilligan. I don't want to ruin the joke. I want you to go back. Let me see if I can cover that. If I can. But at night when it gets dark, Skipper, a falling star during the day. So he says he'll wait till the daytime where he can see it, and that's why Skipper says. But I don't want to ruin the joke. And here's where they step outside. This is why I mentioned that the last shot was inside of a soundstage. Now they are clearly outside and using natural lighting from the sun. So now they're outside the soundstage. Gilligan, I'm right behind you, and Gilligan bumps into them, and this is where Skipper spots the ship. And it looks like, apparently, I guess, remember it was nighttime when they saw the flame coming down. So apparently the cosmonauts landed and waited a few hours, I guess till dawn, to exit their ship. So I'm guessing this is supposed to be around dawn.
I was going to ask if anybody knows how to speak Russian or actually translate what it says on the capsule, because
I can do
to
that
this
for
day,
you. I do not.
Yeah.
I do not speak Russian in any way, but I can tell you what the capsule says in English.
Oh, cool.
Lots of light, too. So when I found that out, I was surprised that it was actually really Russian. I thought it was just some kind of gibberish written on the side of that thing, but no, that's actually a Russian language. Here they have with them pedaling to shore, and we have the professor with coconuts asking them what they're doing. And they show the professor. And I remember at this point, Skipper and Gilligan still think that it's some kind of Martians, but the professor immediately realizes and thinks that they're astronauts. And he drops a coconut on Skipper's foot. So this is the first time that Gilligan wasn't the one that dropped the stuff on Skipper's foot. This time it was Professor. So they immediately assume that they're saved. So they rush out,
Professor, yeah.
and everyone's happy. And they're trying to explain the story of the what happened to them and how they got on the island. Now we have the two cosmonauts. And by the way, those suits have been reused from many, many, many 50s and 60s sci-fi movies.
Oh yeah.
And of course, remember everybody, even
Cosmonauts.
these are actors who do not really speak Russian, so they're going to use really kind of bad Russian accents. Kind of imagine Chekhov on Star Trek.
Oh, Chekhov wasn't actually Russian
Yeah, I know, big shocker, huh?
because he has a
A,
big
Ru- a,
accent in Babylon 5.
a Russian monkey.
Well, he had an accent in Babylon 5.
What kind?
I can pull up a clip for after the stream.
But it's not Russian, I guess, right?
Um,
The same as he used on Star Trek. I'm sure he would say no to that.
Yeah. I kind of lost you there, Pop, on the part where you said about the translation of the on the capsule.
Um, Lots of light, two.
Lots of light too. Okay.
Two, like Roman numerals.
Yes. Oh yeah. No, I caught that. I was just saying lots of light too.
Yeah,
Okay.
lots of light, two.
Nice. Lots of light too.
So here's where we have, with supposedly the two cosmonauts talking to each other. So that's why we're getting the physical translation on the bottom of the screen there.
Yeah.
And they don't want to let them know that they're lost.
I don't think they have actually admitted that. I know this is meant for comedic purposes, so, but it's like it seems like everybody was so out of character for because we never trusted each other all during this is during the height of the Cold War, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And I can imagine that first of all, I don't think the Soviets, because right now you got to remember the Soviets are caught off guard. They weren't expecting them to be there, and as soon as they realized they're Americans, I think they would not admit immediately that they're lost, because that's going to give them a weakness, and they're going to think they're going to be exploited by the Americans. So them saying not wanting to admit they're lost kind of makes sense. I know they handle it in a comedic way, but it does make sense.
Well, for all they know, they might have thought they were American spies too on the
Which do
island.
they bring that up?
Well, actually, I think they're part of the American space program.
Right, they bring that up here.
Yeah.
And here's where that food looks delicious. And here's where, and so does Ginger in that beautiful leopard dress.
And hail pickles, hail.
Hello,
Hail
Pickles. Hello,
pickle.
LDG. Good to see you.
LTT. Good to see you.
Um, and of course, she brings him some food, and of course, he immediately starts giving her the charm. If we're lucky, it'll take a long time. How about that? A Russian wolfhound, she says to Marianne. Marianne's got her Dorothy suit on. How are you going to get us off the island? Our Navy knows by now that we have missed target. And then the other guy basically tells him to shut up and says, "Big mouth." We have packing and laundry and things to do, say the girls. So, comrade, you are no comrade. So he's upset because the guy said that basically that they landed there accidentally. Darling, they look nice enough, says Mrs. Howell. But it's not exactly the American dollar, says Mr. Howell. Dear, we really ought to go out and meet them. Don't forget who we are and who they are, says Mr. Howell. They're the chaps in the black hats. Lovey, would you please come away from that door? And of course, she's excited. They promised to take us to Moscow. Even today's day and age, if it was this is me, I don't want to go to Moscow. We all see on the news those people end up in those Moscow prisons for years, and it's like, no, no thanks. I'll stay on the island. Oh,
Yeah, the
now who do we know in
gulags.
Moscow? The
Yeah.
Gulag, right?
Yes.
And considering my skin color and my gender, my country would be in no hurry to get me out of there. I would never be seen again. And they probably even haven't got a blue book there, she says. A red one, perhaps. Yes, but being aloof is such bad manners, darling. And then she convinces him, he says, all right, we'll go meet them. And no cracks about Russian tailors or their subways.
I never knew they were that sensitive about their subway system. I never knew that. Wow.
Oops. You guys didn't hear anything, did you?
No.
Make sure the volume's turned down. Yeah, because usually when I present with share screen, there should be no volume. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But sometimes I'll play clips like you guys just saw. I just want to make sure there's no audio.
Yeah. What measures?
What a great view. And here we have, they want to tow the capsule onto the bank, and we'll just pull the capsule in and beach it. But he's saying the capsule mustn't tip. Obviously, they don't want it to sink.
Right.
Well, I would think, well, then go close the door. But oh well, huh?
Well, you would
Must
thought
not.
that, yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was saying that should have been the first thing on their minds, the cosmonauts, when they left on the raft, was to close that door, and they just
Yes,
about forgot. I mean, you're a
I
cosmonaut.
completely.
You're not supposed to forget something like that.
Well, right, and they don't want anybody going in there.
Sure.
Hey, I'm less worried about the door, and I'm still wondering how it hasn't drifted away with them not anchoring it down.
Yeah. Not
Anchoring
sure how
the.
they'll be able
Oh,
to
you
do
mean so
that.
it doesn't drift out of the lagoon?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you never
Yeah.
know, right? But here's where they prepare to get in the line, and he tells Skipper to get in the back with the Russians in the middle and Gilligan up front, and they're going to try to pull it to shore. Sorry about my dogs. I just fed them once again. Hush up, pooches. This is not your cue to talk. Okay. And Gilligan tries to tug,
Oh,
and of course, the first thing it does, it starts to tip, which is what they were concerned about.
they didn't want
must
that
be
to
very
happen.
light.
And when it does, this is what we get. And of
Bob
course,
Denver was great.
yes, it was. And this is the Russians starting to realize, oh, this is Gilligan. This isn't just anybody. This is Gilligan.
Yeah.
So here we have where the guys are calling a secret meeting later on at night. And the professor, well, actually, the professor called them together. I suppose you
Yeah.
wonder why I called you together for this meeting. I wasn't wondering, I was sleeping. Mr. Howell was asleep, but he's still got his, I guess, pajamas on. Gentlemen, have you ever heard of a space capsule with a one-way radio? Says the professor. Come to think of it, no, says the skipper. And the professor said the possibility that those Russians didn't land here by mistake. You mean they're planning to take over the island and use it for a base? Mr. Howell, so now they're starting to realize that they could be captured and sent to Siberia. And of course, he's being reasonable. He says we could be jumping to conclusions. And Mr. Howell says, don't confuse the facts. I'm with Mr. Howell doesn't trust him at all. And Skipper says, I'm with Mr. Howell. And then Gilligan says, we're even. I don't think they trust us either, which is true.
Yes.
Must be
Right.
secret
They think
American
they're
space
spies.
program.
Secret American space program. Yes. These Americans, they think they can fool us.
Right, especially Gilligan. He
Yeah.
acts too stupid to be stupid.
I
Hey,
love that line.
what have I been saying for the last how many weeks?
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
he's an idiot genius. Yes, I remember you said that.
And they even say that
Yeah,
must be the cleverest one of them all.
I bet he
I know
is.
it's rare, but there has been times where Gilligan's been known to save the castaways.
Yeah.
No. There's a lot of times where he does a lot of smart stuff, but yet he does a lot of stupid stuff, so it balances out.
Yeah, it does.
It does, yeah.
And now the professor says, now if I could just get inside that capsule, they're guarding it night and day. And of course, Mr. Howell has an idea. Arthur somehow the third can outwit two Russians. And Gilligan says, I hope it's one of your sneakiest plans. And Mr. Howell says, I'll show you how the spy business really works. Like he would know. But oh well.
Yeah.
So Mr. Howell immediately, this is funny, he immediately claps his hands together and we get the entrance of beautiful Ginger. And look at her spy number, Agent 362536 reporting, sir.
I thought there was a 69 in there.
Oh, probably not.
No,
I
no,
don't
no,
think
no,
she's that
no.
big anywhere.
No, I heard. Where did I hear? I thought I was watching this. I heard like there's a number like 3669 or something.
Nope.
No, she was given her accurate measurements, but it was
Right. She's
interesting
giving.
because it was interesting because a normal beauty like her is supposed to be a 36, 24, 36, but she's only slightly one more.
Well, and we don't know if those were actually Tina Louise's measurements. That could have just been in the script.
I could
That's
Google
true.
it. Hmm.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
So
Gorilla can look it up.
here we have you'll notice that we've mentioned before in the past where they film day for night because this is
Yeah.
out on the set outside of the lagoon, and you can tell
Right.
they have the f-stop on the camera turned down where it looks like almost evening, but it's obviously full daylight. It is afternoon because you can see the shadows being cast that the
Yeah.
sun is setting basically behind Ginger.
Hey, Pop,
But
I
they
had a
have the
question. Oh,
yes,
sorry. I had a question.
uh-huh.
This lagoon was part of the Universal Studios tour, wasn't it?
Nope.
No.
Nope. This wasn't Universal Studios. I know a lot
What
of
was this
people
then?
think that, but yeah, it wasn't. This was CBS,
CBS
and
Studios. Okay.
Okay.
uh-huh.
I got a fact checker.
All right.
It's 35, 22, 35.
That's
Oh,
what Tina Louise's actual measurements.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd go for
wow.
that.
I go for that too. So she was lying.
And here we are with her using her charm, trying to convince the Russian. He's in jungle sleep. She asks him where the other Russian is, and
Yeah.
it doesn't make a lot of sense. He says he's in the jungle sleeping for to keep cold. So I'm like, oh, huh, all right. He wants to keep cold.
I guess.
So he says, I'm here alone. Oh, why just? And he asks her what she's doing. She's just going for a little stroll, and she said she wants to take a midnight swim. And he said, well, this is a good place for a swim too. And she says, but the other side of the island is much better. Why don't you come along? I have to stay and guard the capsule, he says. And then she says, you can't have everything, big boy. And she walks away. And of course, you can see the look on his face. Who wouldn't want to see a midnight swim like that? And he says,
Yeah.
oh,
Now.
flew into the capsule. There we go.
Yeah. And now you see the look of light too, like you said. You see it up closer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I didn't even know she could speak Russian. I was expecting when they said that, when Gilligan said, I didn't know they could speak Russian. I thought a good line this professor could have said was, well, with Ginger, you don't need to speak Russian.
That's true.
Here we have where
But
Gilligan and the professor sneak onto the capsule.
yeah, but you know what doesn't make sense is why would you take Gilligan along on this kind of mission? If
Yeah, I
anything,
know, and especially let him in
I
there where he could touch anything. Yes, I totally agree. And what's interesting is that copper device to the right of the professor. I thought that looked like an
yeah.
urn.
Why would you do that? Yeah.
But I'm going to read exactly what this is. The cosmonaut. Well, no, actually, I'll mention it in a later scene because that copper device comes to play here soon.
I love that.
Yeah. But it's kind of funny. You think I don't know everything that's critical. They always bring Gilgit along, and all of a sudden it's not so important. And Phantom Boomer says bigger on the inside. Well, it's a fifth dimensional space capsule. That's all.
That's right. Yes, once again.
That's right.
If see, what I would have done if I was going to bring Gilligan, I would say, okay, Gilligan, I want you to keep lookout and let me know if you see them coming.
Oh,
That's
that's
the way.
still
To,
Yes.
that's still
yeah, have
still screwed up.
well, I would have them stand outside the capsule, right there on the platform, and say, "You stay right here. Don't come inside. Keep your eyes peeled, and let me know if you see anything."
And don't touch anything. Anything.
Right.
He already said that. And
Right.
for some reason, I don't know why Gilgit put his hand up.
Well, he's leaning.
I,
Supposedly, he's using it for leverage because he's leaning forward to watch the professor. See.
yes.
I guess that's how they wrote it in the script anyway. But as soon as he leans forward, it turns the radio on. And then when he
Right.
leans back, the radio comes back on.
Yeah.
And the professor
And it
can't
goes,
understand why.
yeah, it goes.
Oh, did you mention that it's a one-way radio?
Yes.
And Gilligan, and this is when the professor realized that Gilligan's touching that handle. And he says, Gilligan, I asked you not to touch anything, didn't I?
Something again.
And Gilligan steps back against the panel where they get a bunch of short circuiting and electricity and sparks. And then the professor says, now you've shorted out the whole electrical system. And as you can see
Uh,
here, we have the cosmonauts watching them. And now they realize that they're caught.
Oh, that was
How
real
are we doing on the
fast.
chats, Gorilla?
We're all caught up.
Oh,
yeah, we're
okay,
caught
very
up.
cool.
Yeah, Phantom Boomer said his last thing.
All
Yeah,
right, thank you.
that was real fast swim for the one guy that speaks English.
Oh, yeah, that's true, right? Well, I think maybe he probably went with Ginger and then realized, hey, maybe this is a trap because nobody's watching the capsule. So turn faster, or she lost him because she knows that island better than he does. Maybe she was walking faster and she lost him. Turn faster, Gilligan. So what they're doing now is since they short circuited the electricity or the electrical system in the capsule, they're having to have Gilligan turn this generator in order to power it. So the cosmonauts are in there trying to repair it. Struggle to repair it, that is.
Yeah, now you think the Professor Vicky create a generator for their ship there, that they will be unable to come up make like all kinds of like electrical devices on the island with leftover spare parts and stuff.
Well, as long as they can make them out of coconuts and wood, right? I guess.
Well,
They
look
never
at how
do
much.
show us, or they never do show us what's inside that generator. Normally,
Yeah,
it would
but
have to be a copper wire.
magnet. You need a magnet.
But, right, but it has to have copper wire. Usually, it's a magnet inside a bundle of copper wire.
Yeah, no, but just think of how much stuff's crashed on that island too. You had the original SS Minnow. You had that one missile land on there. You had that one camera land on there. All kinds of
Yep.
stuff landed on that
Yeah,
island.
and you had that one plane. Remember that plane they found
That's gone.
in the rescue of Gilligan's Island?
That's gone.
Yeah, that's gone. Yeah,
That was because there was a second episode with Rogway Feldman.
Yes, and he took it.
and he took it. Yeah, okay.
And I thought this was interesting because it's a big change in time. So obviously, they filmed this scene, and I'm guessing it's around 1 p.m. Because I'm sorry, but I always have an eye for time of day and shadows. So take a look at Skipper and the shadow of his head on his right shoulder. So I'm guessing this is filmed around 1 or 2 p.m. because the sun is not quite high in the sky, but it's just down about maybe 40, 45 degrees. Now, watch it. He's talking to Gilligan, and so we cut to later. So apparently, this is later in the afternoon. As you can see later, way later, because if you see the shadows of the trees, and it looks like it's almost dark. And now look, cut back, and it's daytime again. So that's kind of the continuity. But of course, they didn't think people back in the 60s were going to notice that on their
Well,
tiny televisions.
well, if you, maybe it was there was a lot of filming or a lot of filming errors.
That's possible. So the professor went in and helped them repair it. Of course, the professor's able to. So they're saying, "Attaboy, professor, you showed them real American know-how." And they say they have received a message from the submarine. They will arrive tomorrow at 11. And everybody's happy. And more stock footage of a submarine. And now the cosmonauts are celebrating, and in fact, he says, "Let's celebrate." He says, "What? Coconut milk?" And he says, "I have for you big surprise." And that's where they open up this device and they pull out 2 bottles of vodka.
Ah, what a surprise! The Russians got some vodka, the water of Russia.
Right. And I want to mention this. In this episode, the cosmonauts snuck vodka in their capsule. It was revealed years later this actually occurred on some Soviet space missions.
Yeah,
And the
Yeah.
cosmonaut removes the vodka from a copper apparatus connected to the wall with a hose. The copper item is a samovar, used in Russia to boil water for tea. The cylinder at the top, connected to the hose, is the chimney for the charcoal used to heat the water. It gives the impression the capsule had a charcoal fire vented to the outside.
that's so cool.
Now, I'd like to him to notice that they did not do any product placement here,
Nope, no, not back in the 60s, no. I guess
Yeah,
they'll either
no.
have a fake name, or they'd have a fake name, or just cover it up.
or just say vodka.
It
Right.
just said vodka on there on the bottles. That's all it said.
Yeah,
Well, it does
But
show close-ups later on when Gilligan writes something on it, but I don't know. I don't think they show a name.
it said
So
I'm
here,
pretty sure it said vodka too.
well, it does say vodka. I'm just saying I don't remember. I have to look if there's any smaller lettering above that. And now the girls are excited and they're packing. And the press will be there. I said the submarine will be there tomorrow. And Mrs. Howe comes in and she's stressing out because she has nowhere to put her mink. And she says all those bags and trunks and no room for my favorite bird. And of course, the girls volunteer. They'll put it in their bag. And this is interesting too. And it kind of makes sense. Mrs. Howe says, I've never packed before. It's really lots of fun. So I was thinking, well, didn't she pack for the trip to the island? But no, she would have had a servant do that for her.
That's true.
And just think, or slave. I don't like the word servant because it's the same thing. They're interchangeable.
Right.
Ginger, just think this wonderful soft fur comes from mink. Not anymore. This is before the big revolution of animal rights. Yeah, so you won't see that anymore.
Yeah. Last time they mentioned that. And Sable, of course.
And her sable. None of this stuff, right?
Her cashmere
Now she says
girdle.
she has more. And her
Leopard.
leopard print. Great sentimental value. We raised a little darling ourselves. Geez, so she actually raised them and then slaughtered them for the jacket.
Can you just imagine that no, it's one thing if you're like raising cattle
Yeah.
and sheep and all
Yeah.
that's one thing.
Yeah.
But can you imagine raising a cub leopard?
No, I
Then just to harvest it.
can't. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mikey. Hello. I think Gorilla's done talking. Go ahead, Mikey.
Oh, okay. What I was going to say was that honestly, I couldn't see Mrs. Howell wear that kind of leopard thing, but the actress that played her, Natalie, yes, I could see her wear that. I could. I could see her
Yes,
wear that.
Natalie Schaefer.
Natalie Schaefer, right?
And now they're saying, Ginger, I don't think it's going to close. So they're struggling to close it, and they're saying, be careful. And there's Gilligan saying
I
hello, and they're asking him to come in
come
and
in,
hurry. They
hurry.
want help trying to close the suitcase. And they say, we can't close it. And he says, that's silly. Here, I'll close it for you. And when they hop off of it, it explodes, just like they said. And there we have Gilligan walking through the
So
jungle, and he overhears.
how
Go
they
ahead.
manage to do that effect? Did they do like a spring launching pad inside the suitcase?
Yes.
And the clothes probably had wires on them.
Yeah.
So they just yanked them upwards up into the rafters.
Okay.
And somebody
go-
had to be hiding all screen. Don't forget that too. Somebody had to have been hiding all screen to allow that spring mechanism to.
Right. Remember, this is sound stage, so they have like rafters up there with people. They're operating the lights and everything. So there's plenty of people up there that could pull on that stuff.
I can do that stuff. Yeah.
Anybody who's seen Bewitched, you'll know what I'm talking about, where they have things floating throughout the house,
Yeah.
the brooms and stuff. That's people up in the rafters. I hope I don't blow it for any Bewitched fans out there, but it wasn't real magic, kids.
No.
So okay. Yeah, sorry.
You're traumatizing me here. You just traumatized my entire childhood there.
Yeah. And loving it.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome, mad scientist. Welcome. Apparently,
Yeah.
I have to
Well, he was here earlier.
Yeah, he was.
Oh,
Yeah.
I must have
He
missed that.
says, "Gorilla, get your snow. Get what? Gorilla, get your snow woman that sexy cheetah outfit. Make room for the carrot nose."
Right.
That'd be cool. Yes. I'd like to get that for my wife too. I know my wife would look cool in a cheetah outfit.
PG here, PG.
I know I'm trying to be PG. I'm trying. Jeez.
So we have Gilligan in the jungle, and he overhears the cosmonauts talking. So they say, we land capsule in the wrong place. No, but they're talking about how they don't want to let the castaways know that it was an accident.
Oh.
And they don't want to take the castaways with them so that the castaways can go back and tell the whole world that they made a mistake. And they're saying Moscow would be mad at them. And then that's where they realize they'll end up. Sorry, what's that? Okay, so I guess they say how cold is Siberia, and then, so if we tie them up and leave them here, we know got gun. I'd drink toast and get them drunk. Right, so they
School
decide that they're
Gilligan
going
effect,
to. Sorry, what's that?
getting electrocuted.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm confused. What happened?
Oh no. When our voice things go out, or if there's a pause, I see our electrical thing goes off with Gilligan being attached and getting electrocuted. I
Oh
see
yeah,
that
my back.
usually.
Yeah, my background. Yeah, sometimes I don't
Yeah.
know why the video dips out and you can see the background. I apologize for that, guys.
Oh no, that's okay. I think it's funny as hell. It is.
They
Like,
decide they've got vodka in the capsule, and they're saying they can outdrink the men. Two Russian men can drink more than four American men. There's only three men: sailor, a teacher, a rich capitalist. And that's when they realize you were right. Three men and Gilligan. Poor Gilligan.
oh, poor Gilligan.
And this is where Gilligan lets the guys know what's going on in the plot against them.
Yeah.
And now they're saying
Yeah.
Gilligan today we could drink water, and they say that'd be suspicious. Sorry, go ahead, Gorilla.
Oh, I was gonna say it's kind of funny there that not every single one of them has an excuse.
Yeah.
Well, and right, and this is where we find out that according to the professor, he's allergic to alcohol. So that even though you didn't know, and if
I
you
wasn't
wanted
sure
to,
if
you
he
can't
was
drink.
actually true about that or not, or if that was his excuse.
Well, it's the first mention of it, and I don't think they mentioned it again, so it's probably true. I don't see why he would lie.
Yeah. So yeah, the professor's allergic. Mr. Howell will only drink the grapes that were smashed by orphan children there, so he must be
Well, no,
corrupted.
no, he says a beautiful actress is what he mentions. I think Gina Lola Bridget or one of them.
Right.
Besides,
Oh,
we don't drink with
okay.
them. They may do something drastic. Maybe they'll got
Yep.
weapons or something that'll blow our heads off. The
Yeah.
solution is to drink them. Sorry, what's that?
Oh no, go ahead. Finish what you were saying, Pop.
Well, I was just going to say what the professor is saying. The solution is to drink them under the table. And here's where he says, unfortunately, I'm allergic to alcohol. Skipper, maybe you can drink them under the table. And well, maybe I can't catch it all, but Skipper basically says that he doesn't drink. Well, maybe
Well,
Right.
what a sailor. Go ahead, Gorilla.
Right.
If you can remember Gorilla, yeah, fill me in.
yeah, basically the skipper says I could probably drink them under the table with scotch and bourbon, but that vodka puts them right to sleep.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah. And I was going to say too, there's a little known fact about Russell Johnson, and the fact is that Russell Johnson actually was a notorious drinker in his earlier years in Hollywood. So when you were doing this episode,
Yeah, I never knew
supposedly
different
Russell
alcohol had
said,
different effects on people, but I guess it's possible.
Oh yeah.
yeah, and Russell said, well, I couldn't handle it. Yeah.
Yeah. The clearer the alcohol, the less likely you are to get a hangover. Also.
Yeah, I have heard that.
All right. Oh,
Well,
and hello, Lemon Pie. Welcome. He
hey,
says hi
Lemon
to
Pie,
Pipe
so good to
Hi,
see you.
David. Oh, hi, Pipe Gorilla 4. Hey, Lemon. Yes, I know you're a man.
Thank you for joining us, Lemon Pie. Great to see you again.
I just
Here it
had
is. Well,
fun.
maybe Gilligan, but I'm great with Scotch or bourbon. I go to sleep like a little baby. All those parties and banquets, maybe you can do it. So they're talking to Mr. Howell. He says, well, the Howell taste buds are very delicate. Crushed by the toes of Bridget Bardot, a French actress. That's the name, Bridget Bardot. Little Purple Pete. So I guess he's saying a French wine. Wait a minute. Gilligan has moments of brilliance, says Mr. Howell.
That's what he suggests on drinking water. They're gonna switch it out.
Yes.
Yep. You see, but Mr. Howell, how can we drink water when they're drinking vodka? And he says, of course, I have a plan. Quarterback Howell, out the team. And of course, Gilligan, why always me?
Yeah. Brilliance.
So we have the cosmonauts just chilling by the capsule. And by the way, I want to mention this is the second season, and that water is still not that dirty. By the time they get into the third season, Gilligan said, Bob Denver said he could hardly even see through it. The water was so bad. The actors had to complain and refuse to get in the water until the studio drained it and refilled it again.
Did
Because
they?
they only filled it
Wow.
once for the beginning of the show and then never refilled it, or it was never filtered. There's cigarettes and everything. I
Yeah,
mean, everything. It was just dirty, like a pond.
yeah, it had terrible algae, if I remember recalling what they said about it. It
That's
had
exactly what
terrible
they said. They
algae.
said all the algae and mold will get sick.
Yeah, right. Good look.
So here's where Gilligan, for a distraction, throws one of the rock, throws a rock, and one of the cosmonauts goes to look and see where the noise is coming from. And Gilligan takes another rock and tosses it in the other direction to send the other cosmonaut off that way.
Yeah, so is this where he changes the vodka in the bottles to water or something like that?
Right,
One
there's the two
vodka.
bottles. He sees them behind the picture of Stalin,
Yeah,
and he pours one out.
right.
Does his jeans look exceptionally dry in this sphere?
Yeah, they absolutely are. They're wet when he comes out of the water, but now they're already dry in this scene, it looks like.
Yeah, because you think the cosmonauts would notice the water on the floor.
Yeah, you would think, right? See, there's other words, but they're in Russian.
Yeah,
They must have put like a label over the actual name of it, so there was no product placement.
Yes. Or it
right.
could have been
Pretty
wine
much
bottle with a
about it.
fake label on it.
Yeah.
So Gilligan sees them and immediately hides to get out of there just in time. And of course, the women say, "We." But now you notice how this is the 1960s, and out of taste, nobody suggests that the women get drunk too, which is a good thing. And now on top of that, Mrs. Howell says, "Okay, they're going to get ready to do their thing, so let's get out of here." So they don't even want to show the women near supposed drunk men.
Yes.
Nothing is too good for our friends across the sea, as we say. And to prove that we are so good friends to you, Ivan recommends the vodka, and Mr. Howell says, "Ivan with the blue eyes." Oh, what an unexpected pleasure. We'll make a big toast to Great Russia. Wait a minute, Igor. So they're like, "What?" He says, he's a gourmet connoisseur. And now uh, Skipper asked if we could look at the bottles. And they said, okay. So he looks at the first bottle here, and as you can see, it does not have the check mark that Gilligan wrote. So they say, oh no, that's a bad year. That's a bad year. Perhaps this one's better for soft Americans, he says. So now he hands them the second bottle, and it does have the check mark that, because I guess the cosmonauts didn't notice the check mark on the bottle. Oh, that's a good year. There it is. There's Gilligan's mark.
Well, that's something that can be easily missed, especially if you're not looking at
Yeah,
the labels.
it could be. It could have been like a smaller dot towards the bottom of the label, but they're going to make it bigger and up towards the top so the camera can see it. So I can see why it was the way it is.
Yeah, but now, yeah, let's see. There's six people at the table. They should be going through those wine bottles pretty damn fast, especially if the cosmonauts drink a lot.
You would think that exactly. So now they get ready to toast, but then they stop and they say, "In our country, we have a great tradition: change glasses." Yes, yes, of course. So and toast to the homeland. And just before they get ready to drink, stop, says Mr. Howell. We also change glasses too, as part of American tradition. So they change the glasses again, which means everybody has the original cups again,
Just one and
and they
some.
toast. Gentlemen, I propose a toast to the United States. I thought this is kind of awkward for the professor. But I would have said, gentlemen, I propose a toast to the. I would have said, gentlemen, I propose a toast to the United States of America and Russia for helping both of us working together to get us off the island, something like that. But
Oh,
but
playing
Professor,
diplomat, huh?
well, yeah, because you have the Russians right there, and you're hoping they're going to help. So, gentlemen, I propose a toast to the United States of America, says the professor. the United States,
To the United States.
and through friendly relations.
Understandable relations. Yes.
And we cut to later, and it looks like this guy's already passed out, and the other one's dancing on the table.
Hey, 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 hey. Doing American breakdancing. Or wait, maybe that was a Russian dance that maybe I remember vaguely.
Well, there was a Russian dance that was like that, and which you could tell the guy does not know it because they don't have to use their hands to keep themselves up. They stoop down really, really low, and they can dance with their legs like that without having to hold themselves. It's kind of hard to explain, but yes, there is a dance like that. So here's where the cosmonaut says he wants some more vodka, but theirs is empty. So he wants some of the from the bottle of the Americans. And he's trying to grab on it, but Gilligan's hesitant, and they say, Gilligan, you better let it go. And there it is. There's a little bit left. And he drinks it, but at this point, he's so drunk, he passes out. I don't know why my video player does that. Anyway, good. We ought to drag them down to the space capsule. Oh, leave them here the way they were going to leave us. So it wouldn't be smart either. Exactly. Gilligan, get this one's feet. So they decide they're going to drag them from nighttime to daytime, I guess. You look. It's clearly supposed to be nighttime. Yeah. And I guess it took them all a long time to get them out now where it's morning.
Hey, they're freaking heavy, all right?
Yeah, they're very heavy. And the thing that I'd be seen working for the proletariat. Never mind that, Gilligan. Go get the girls and get our stuff packed and get here back here.
Yeah. Mikey, for you.
Yeah, he says 4. You make a lot of man friends. You know who's a man? Charlie here. He's a man. You know who else? Me. I'm a man. From Seinfeld, The Strike. Oh, nice quotation, Lemon Pie. Nice. And I actually remember the episode of that too.
Cool. So here we have the castaways coming with their bags all packed and ready to go, and they realize the capsule's gone. So now they're confused because it was supposed to be 11 o'clock, and this is no time for a lecture on ethnic cultures. They weren't supposed to ride for 3 hours, says the professor.
Yeah, no. Because Professor made a thing about the Russians pride themselves on punctuality.
Yes. And then they asked Gilligan about his watch. He says, no, I checked it this morning. This is WKMU Manila, and that's when I set my watch. So apparently he was listening to the Philippines, and he set his watch by Philippine time. Gilligan, there's 3 hours difference between here and Manila. That's easy to fix. I'll just set my watch ahead 3 hours, says Gilligan. There. No wonder the submarine got here. And they realize that it's now just past 11 o'clock. And, of course, Skipper chases Gilligan into the lagoon. And we have later that evening, they're listening to the radio. And, of course, the news reporter, newsman, and now on the international scene, tasks the Russian news agency reports that after completing 679 orbits, a new record, 2 Russian cosmonauts were picked up in the Black Sea by a Russian submarine just 18 inches from their target area.
Now, I was doing a little math here. I was a little off on it. How many orbits was it? 679?
679.
So if they're traveling at the speed of the International Space Station there, approximately, that makes 1 orbit every...
Well, it depends on how high they are. The speed of the orbit would be depending on how high you are, your altitude.
Well, there wasn't much difference. There's a 3-minute difference between the highest and the lowest. So I went by the 90 minutes as an average, an hour and a half.
All right.
So the cosmonauts were, if they're traveling at the speed of the International Space Station, they're up there for 42 and a half days.
Wow, and they didn't break open that vodka sooner. I'm surprised.
Because they didn't have more bottles.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, remember when they brought it out, the one guy was surprised.
Maybe when the guy pulled it out. They had 2 left.
Oh, that could be it.
And we can also say that because of Gilligan's ineptness as far as time, they're back on the island, stuck again.
They're still on the island, and they're not going to
Yeah,
Russia, Moscow, or Siberia.
yeah. And
Or
apparently, they
Siberia.
landed 18 inches from their target area.
Right. So that's the whole point. Is they're saying that the Russians don't want to admit that they missed their target.
Now, I got a
Right.
question here. This was kind of bothering me for a while there. So they said that the capsule can't be. They couldn't tip the capsule and all that. How the hell where the hell did they take it? Because we know it floats. And they did they sink it out in the ocean or something?
No, no. I think what happened was supposedly is the submarine came and got them and the capsule.
Yeah, submarine.
Right.
Yeah,
The submarine can surface, and then they'll
Yeah,
tow it in. They'll tow it in and take it aboard.
I don't
yeah.
think that capsule will fit in a submarine though.
No, but I'm saying
Oh
there's
no,
two
it wouldn't fit.
possibilities. They could close the door of the capsule and tow it, or they could
Right.
put it up on the deck and not go underwater. But I don't know if they would do that in the Pacific because this is supposed
No,
to be the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah,
yeah. No, they
see,
they would have to have. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
because the way I
Go ahead.
figured it, if they ever ran into any U.S. patrols, Navy patrols, they'd be probably stopped and I don't know if the Navy would stop and question them, or if they'd fall under freedom of because the Americans would also flat out blurt out and have it broadcast that they saw the Russians towing their capsule, uh, 1,000 to 2,000 miles, or well, probably about 3,000 miles from Russia.
Well, another thing, where is my sweatshirt? I'm getting cold. But
Yeah,
another possibility that we didn't consider is the
yeah.
Russians may have
First
sunk
of all, I
the capsule so people couldn't get their hands on it.
was gonna
Yeah, that's
say,
why I was asking whatever happened to it. Mikey, your robot.
yeah.
Oh, how did I get back here again?
There you go.
No, the episode was pretty much over.
Yeah,
There
I
we
was
go.
gonna
Got right
say.
back where we left off.
Yeah.
No, I had to move my laptop. I had to close a little of it because I was reaching over to get my sweatshirt because it's getting a little chilly here.
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead, guys.
Oh man,
yeah.
it's pretty warm here. We're at 78 still.
Oh, it's
I'm at
70 here
58
in my
degrees.
room.
Yeah, it's
And I'm just wearing a
58 degrees
t-shirt and
outside.
shorts.
Yeah, I'm just on a
So
t-shirt.
gorilla. So finally, it's warmer there than it is here. What do you know?
Oh, actually,
About
wait,
time.
that's tomorrow's forecast. I'll actually look at that's
Well, I mean,
tomorrow's high. I seen. I got open. It's 71.
Nice.
uh,
So when it gets hot during the summer, gorilla, what do you have? Swamp cooler, air conditioning, what?
I got essential air. I got windows. I got fans. I got swamp cooler.
There you go.
oh, cool. Yeah.
Oh, holy crap! They're getting hammered north of us. Well, we're getting distracted. Let's keep going.
So
Okay,
here's where
so
Gilligan says, "Where's the Black Sea?" Well, Gilligan, it's not in the middle of the Pacific, says the skipper. And then Gilligan said, "I wonder why they said a thing like that." Oh, because they're afraid to admit that they goofed, says the skipper. I don't see why. I always admit it when I goof,
I still
when I
don't
still
do it
don't do
right.
it right. And yesterday you asked me to tie up this hammock, and I tried to make a square knot, but I think I goofed. And as he
Yep,
says that, the hammock falls onto the skipper,
I gooped.
and we have our closing credit.
Yep.
Hey, Mikey, this is your first time on our Gilligan's Island stream, right?
Yes.
Okay, top left of the screen. You see the dome
Um.
behind the trees? It's a big dome. Looks like an airplane hangar. No, it's the top left of the screen behind the trees. Looks like a big airplane hangar, big and round. You see it?
Hey, start at the playback where it says playback and start moving your eyes down.
Whoops. Try to get a smile from Seven Stranded Castaways here on Gilligan's
Oh, I guess.
Island.
Okay, well then never.
Hey, Mikey.
Yes.
Yeah, look at the playback where it says playback there at the top and start moving
Yeah.
your eyes down. Do you see something?
Oh, okay. There's a red dot there. Is that
No,
it?
no.
Huh?
Can we see your mouse on this here? Yeah, Pop. We can see your mouse.
Here's the dome. See, I'm outlining it right here. See that, Mikey?
Yes, I see it. Okay.
That's the sound stage where they film the interiors, the huts, and all that.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the CBS Studios. Um,
Yes.
Desilu, right? Desilu Studios,
Well, it's no.
right?
This isn't Desilu here.
No, no, I know, but yeah, this is the outside of the lagoon. Well, you know
Did,
the opening, yeah, the opening of the credits when they show the island. Well, that island was actually located. What was it? Just north of L.A. It was out
well, it's
there,
called Coconut Island.
Coconut Island, right? Right.
Uh huh.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, and another thing, I apologize, guys. I forgot to read from the book this week. So, and
Oh,
once again, and I will. I promise I will next week. I usually read a little bit from Inside Gilligan's Island by Sherwood Schwartz. So we'll
All right,
catch up on that next week.
all right. Let's catch up on chats real quick because we just got a few of
Hey,
them
Big
here.
Gorilla, before we get on to the next episode, thank you.
Scurvy Preventer says Russians drink a. Oh wait, I gotta say this. Russians drink a lot of vodka. You know. Plaxer
Yes, they
says
do.
it looks like a horizontal line. Plaxer says breath had been held. Did I do it right? Hey, Herc, how's it going? He
Herc
says,
130,
hey,
good
hey,
to see you.
hey, PPC and crew of castaways. Plaxer says hail to Herc. Herc says hello to Plaxer. Scurvy Preventer says hail Herc Plaxer. Herc says lemon pie. And Plaxer says hail lemon pie. And Phantom says Herc
Herc
130.
Very cool. Good to see you all, everybody. I hope you're enjoying yourselves. And now for our second episode, which
I
so
hope they're-
happens to be. Let me get caught up here.
Hi-Fi Gilligan.
Hi-Fi Gilligan, yes. Laptop skipping around. Hi-Fi Gilligan, which episode aired November 25th, 1965, so right around Thanksgiving. While the castaways take precautions.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to interject that, by the way, when these episodes came out in 65, I was only born September 22nd, 1965. So this was my first Thanksgiving with my parents, and I was only 2 months and 3 days old.
Which means you were eating formula or mush pretty much, right?
I was.
Yeah, you weren't even on solid food yet. So you didn't get your first turkey until a year later.
Well, a couple years later, actually, until I turned 4.
Years later.
I had to wait. That's terrible.
4?
4, yeah. I had turkey at 4 years old. Yeah, I remember it.
Well, maybe I'm gonna go pull the turkey out of the freezer now for supper tomorrow.
Good idea.
Is it gonna thaw in time?
Oh wait! Oh shoot! I won't be able to have turkey this weekend either because it'll take too long to smoke. I don't want to leave it running while I'm gone.
Yeah. Phantom Booker said. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Did you show that? If you're reading the chat, make sure you put it on screen.
Okay.
Gorilla, if you can put that on screen. Thank you.
Yeah. There it is. Phantom Booker. Phantom Boomer. I haven't talked to you in milliseconds. Oh, okay. and time flies, but it's not malleable. That was Phantom Boomer. To Herc 130.
All right.
Okay.
What were we going to say, Pop?
Go ahead, Pop.
Well, the other day I stopped to get some chicken, fast food chicken.
Yeah.
And being in the Bay Area, as I was eating, some seagulls landed next to the car and were waiting for me to toss them out morsels. So I was tossing them out pieces of chicken. Do you think that's bad? Is it like a cannibal?
No, seagulls can eat they eat fish and stuff. I don't know how
Well, I know,
they.
but it's just that feeding a bird to a bird. It's just I thought I don't know if that's wrong, but I know the seagulls don't care. They enjoyed it. They loved it.
Yeah,
That's not the
it's
same
just
species.
right. Yeah, it's just irony. That's what it
But
is
the
called.
problem is, you feed the
Ironic.
seagulls, and if you're in that area quite a bit, they're gonna be visiting you quite a bit.
Well, yeah. As soon as they saw me eating, they were not shy. They landed right outside my car window because I had the window rolled down for air, and they're beautiful birds, beautiful.
I wouldn't
And
fed them.
Yes, they are.
as soon as I started throwing out pieces, they started squawking. I don't know if they were calling the other seagulls or telling the other ones to stay away, but as soon as they did that, a whole bunch of them came.
Yeah, I wouldn't have fed them.
Why is that?
Oh, one, you got the problem if you feed the animals and they become reliant on you.
Oh,
Second of all,
but you don't know if they're going to spend that much time around humans. I could see like if I had it in a cage at home or something.
you start feeding them and they start sit. And if they're able to, I don't know how good seagulls are able to recognize stuff. So if they kind of like say associate like the look of your car to they'll get fed, you're gonna get swarmed by them a lot.
Maybe they'll memorize the license plate.
And Flaxer says seagulls are garbage eaters. They do not care.
Yeah, they'll
Seagulls
eat everything.
are
Yes,
still still marginally on topic.
right. But I did not give them bones or anything like that. I'm not going to be cruel, so I kept all that in a plastic bag and tied it shut. I only tossed out like pieces like the biscuit that I tore up, and the actual meat is all.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That'll be fine.
So we have our introduction with our fantastic heroes. We have Gilligan and the
It
Skipper
was a
too.
mighty sailor man. Da, 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 da,
And
da.
of course, the weather
So
started unfortunately getting rough.
From the time to the top, now for the
the,
country,
the
it
minnow
would be
would
lost,
be
it would
lost.
be lost.
The ship's sick.
The ground on the
Remember,
shore,
guys, that
safe like
minnow there was
the
eventually restored. The man bought it and he's using it.
That's a, hey, wait a second. I thought I was under the impression that it got pretty much all rubberized and flew apart.
That was a prop used for that episode, but the actual real boat was actually restored. Somebody bought it and he's using it. And I would love to go right on that boat.
I would too. I would too, definitely.
I don't know if he kept it like 100% original or how much
Now,
he's added to it.
yeah, now,
Uh,
Pop, you called that Coconut Isle? That's the official name of the island?
Coconut Island.
Coconut Island. Okay.
Yes.
Now, if he did do any changes to the boat, major changes to the boat or and all that, then he was on. Then he wasted a bunch of money buying a Gilligan's Island prop when he could, there because he bought it for the sentimental value of it being on Gilligan's Island and the history on
That's
it.
the whole point, right? So I would keep it perfectly intact.
Yeah, so I don't think he changed it.
Oh, yeah,
And
that would be dumb. Why go for all that money if you're going to do that, right?
yeah, and Herc says seagulls are the trash pandas of the air.
Of the air. Yeah, for 130. That's true. We actually have a seagull here in Canada that my wife and I officially named Steven Seagull because he follows us everywhere. Yeah, he
Oh
follows
yeah,
us
they're
everywhere.
smart birds. Smart birds.
Yes, they
Now,
are.
I got a question, Mikey. Did you feed
Yeah.
it one time?
Yeah, we actually.
I respect case.
So like a stray cat, now you never get rid of them, right?
Yeah.
Them bread and stuff.
Mikey, you're
popcorn,
roboting
popcorn.
again.
We fed him popcorn.
Yeah, alright. So, now this is the episode here.
I'm sorry.
Where'd they
No, you're
get
fine,
the
Mikey.
Where'd they get the paint for the I
Pop-
suppose it,
Cable.
well, they perfectly managed to label it fruit and vegetables then. Where'd they get the paint?
From berries. Remember, they make makeup and everything else on the island. Remember, they painted other things, and the professor said he makes it from berries and plants.
That's right.
So now they're talking about there's supposed to be a typhoon hitting the island. So they're taking the food stock and they're going to go and put it somewhere safe. Whoever's talking is breaking up. Sorry. Hello? Or is it me?
I'm still here.
Gorilla, you there? I think Gorilla's having a little bit of issues. Gorilla, let me know when you come back.
Yeah, technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. Please stand by.
Yeah,
So they're trying to. Gilligan is all excited actually because the typhoon's coming in and he's trying to guess what day it's supposed to come in. And Skipper's trying to say that what does it matter? And Gilligan says, well, it's going to come on Wednesday. And Skipper says, why Wednesday? And he says, well, bad things always happen on Wednesdays. And Skipper said, bad things don't happen on just Wednesday. And Gilligan starts giving him some lame examples about some fat, skinny mulligan kept getting in trouble on Wednesday. And Gilligan says he got suspended for giving the teacher an apple. And the skipper says, you don't get expelled or suspended for giving a teacher an apple. And Gilligan says, with a worm? And he says, never mind.
with the
Here, get
worm
this fruit
inside
off
it.
my
Yeah,
shoulder. Yes.
the
And here we
cake.
have the cake. And they're cramming everything inside. And Gilligan keeps talking, going on and on. And Professor Skipper says he's not interested. We've got to get these supplies in the cave before the typhoon hits. And Gilligan says, when do you think it'll hit? He says, I told you, I don't know. And he said, just pile the crates. So he's packing them in there. And unfortunately, he hits Gilligan. He hears the old usual bonk on the head like a coconut sound. And he hears Gilligan say, ow. And he says, buddy, are you all right? And then, so Gilligan comes out. Looks like Gilligan's a little drowsy.
Yeah, yeah.
And Skipper helps him out. And he says it was strictly an accident. He's very apologetic. I didn't hurt you too bad, did I? Try moving your jaw back and forth. And Gilligan does. Good. Now try opening your mouth. And as soon as he does, we get music and orchestra playing. And he closes his mouth and the music stops. Of course, this is pure fantasy, guys. Don't expect this. Lucille Ball actually swore this was a real thing that could happen. So now this is back in the old days. So yeah, anybody with today's technology sense knows this is not possible, but it doesn't matter. This is the 1960s.
Yeah.
Orchestra playing, and he closes his mouth and the music stops. So every time he opens his mouth, you hear music playing, and every time he closes it, it stops.
Yeah, it turned him into a hi-fi radio.
Yes, exactly. Except there's only one speaker, so it's mono. Hi-fi was a term, an early term for stereo, mostly identified to record players because they were the big way to sell stereo records. Professor, I don't see how a smack in the jaw could. Basically, the Skipper says, I don't see how a smack in the jaw could cause it. And of course, this is funny because we're going to say, okay, all right, okay. I'd like to see this professor explain this. And the professor says he's not a radio skipper. The high frequency sound waves are emanating from the molar, which is pushed up against. And of course, Skipper, before he can finish, interrupts him. The thing I'm getting is I've been belted many times before, but the only thing that I ever come out of my mouth was a loose tooth. And the professor says one of Gilligan's molars has been jolted out of position and shoved against the tooth with a silver filling. Open, Gilligan. And he does, and more music comes out. We actually hear the announcer. This is station Kalu Honolulu, the voice of Pineapple, and he closes his mouth. It's not too unusual situation. It's happened a number of times, says the professor. Well, everybody, we all know it's not, but we'll give the professor credit because for necessity of plot. And it looks like Gorilla dipped out. I hope he can make it back. Maybe he's having some power issues. So the professor continues, maybe the shape of his skull have all combined to make him a receiver. Can we make him a sender so we can get a message to Hawaii, says the skipper? So they're wondering if they can turn him into a transmitter. And the professor says, no, I'm afraid not, Skipper. The position of his head and body will bring in different stations. Watch, open up Gilligan, and he has Gilligan open his mouth, and as he turns his head, he starts tuning in different stations and different things like that. And Gilligan gets all excited. Gilligan, your tooth may go back into position by itself, says the professor, or perhaps I'll have to find a non-conductive substance to coat it with, or maybe I'll pull the tooth. And Gilligan says no, no, and shakes his head. And I have to keep checking these weather reports. What's the latest on the typhoon? Says the skipper. And the radio is just in time, as they say that, which is bearing down on the Southwest Pacific area. Is Gilligan? Would you close your mouth? Of course, Gilligan. There's music playing when he tries to ask a question,
Right, right.
and there will be hourly reports from this station.
Hey,
You're
Bob,
going to have to stay awake. Yes, sir.
can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. You sound great.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Okay. I got headphones finally. So, yeah,
That's what Gorilla was saying. Congratulations. Can you hear a lot better now too?
absolutely. Yeah, I can hear a lot better.
Yeah,
I
that's one
even
of the
heard
first
him
things I
eating
learned.
before. Yeah.
What's that?
No, I even heard him eating before, and he thought I didn't recognize what he was doing.
Yeah, that does happen sometimes. But yeah, when I first started streaming, that was one of the first things that I did was the headphones were one of the best investments I could make. And then I bought an external mic, and that was a lot better because it was I sounded like garbage on the built-in laptop mic. So this one I'm using now is a USB mic, and it's much better.
Oh
And
my
now they're
gosh.
getting feedback on the radio. So the professor says, Gilligan, the signals you're emitting are loud enough to cause interference. So they're telling him to step back away from the radio. And then Skipper says, "Come on, Gilligan, let's see
Yeah.
if we can turn it into a color TV." And Gilligan opens his mouth, and we get a middle of a transition here. And we have Gilligan hanging from a tree, playing a station with an exercise guru as the girls are working out. Okay, Mikey, it's your first time on the Gilligan Island stream. Which one, Ginger or Marianne? We always ask
And
everybody
the
that
pop?
question.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Marianne would have been more suitable to me. I couldn't go
There
with
you go.
Ginger. No way. No way. I
Well,
she was just she was just too full of herself. That's how I thought of her. And
and
my
high maintenance.
high maintenance. And my fears were confirmed when everybody else, God rest their souls, when everybody in the cast passed away and the only one left was the one Tina Louise. It
That's
made
right.
sense to me. It made sense to me.
That's
I
correct.
guess it wasn't fair. Yeah,
She's
I'm
the
sorry.
last remaining cast member still. Yeah, you're right.
That's right. And that
The last one
that
to go was Dawn Wells, Marianne. So
yes,
the girls lasted the longest.
they did. I was
Yeah,
proud
the
of
way I
that.
always looked at it is Ginger is the kind of girl you want with you when you're going out to show off, right? If you're out in public, it's like, wow, yeah, I want Ginger with me. But Marianne's the one you want to bring home to mom, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I thought that was great. You know what? Uh, I just want to interject quickly. Just it's
Uh
still on
huh.
topic, but it's about the movies that followed, the TV movies that followed after the
Which
series was
we
over.
will be covering on this stream. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, but I was just going to say real quickly that when Tina Louise decided to bow out,
Yes.
and they had that other lady that came in for her,
Judith
that to me,
Baldwin.
yes, Judith Baldwin, yeah. So when she came in, Judith Baldwin, I said, well, then why would Tina Louise do that? She had been on the series the entire time. And then when you got a TV movie that explains exactly how they were able to get off the island and be rescued, and she's not even in it, that turned me off to her completely. From that point on, to me, she's not an actress. She's just, I want this, I want that. If I can't do this, I won't be a part of your reunion or your cast.
Okay, let me explain. I understand where you're coming from. Let me explain. We've kind of covered this a little bit in our past streams. I'll cover this really quickly.
Okay,
Before Gilligan's Island, Ginger was actually a very aspiring actress. She had a lot of potential in Hollywood. For example, she was in a great movie called God's Little Acre with a very young Michael Landon. So
I think I remember that. Yeah.
she
No,
figured
I
her
said I
career.
think I remember that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they were like a poor farmer family, like back in the South. So I think it was during the Depression it took place. So anyway, so she took the role for Gilligan's Island, obviously, because an actor's going to take they want a paycheck. But then when the show went off the air, well, let me be exact. First, she was upset because her role wasn't as big as it was, and then Sherwood Schwartz had to remind her, remember now, it's Gilligan's Island, not Ginger's Island.
Right.
So during the filming of the 3 seasons, she kind of kept off to herself. The rest of the actors would all actually sit around the table, eat lunch together, but she'd always hang out in her room. So, a dressing room. So, what happened was, series went off the air, and then she realized how much she was typecasted and stereotyped. It was hard
Right.
for her to get jobs. All of them, it was hard for them to get jobs. They would go into an interview and they'd say, "Oh, that's Marianne, or that's Ginger." So that upset her, which I can understand. A lot of actors do get upset when there's typecast, but she did end up making a few movies where she broke the character of Ginger, where she looked ugly. She dressed herself down with horrible makeup and all that kind of stuff because she was trying to resuscitate her career. And then what happened with
Right.
the 1975, when they made Rescue from Gilligan's Island, they offered her to come back. You want to play Ginger. What she said, she goes, "Yeah, I'll come back," but she basically wanted double as everybody else the money. And they were saying, "No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that." So she said, "Well, I won't do it then." And they said, "Okay." So that's when they decided they're going to recast. So they started searching out, and that's when they found Judith Baldwin. And Judith Baldwin, by the way, was very sweet, and she thought, "Well, no one's going to like me because I can't fill Tina Louise's shoes." But the cast took her in like a family member, and they all got along great. So needless to say is they moved along with production. They hired Judith Baldwin, and just as they were shooting, Tina Louise called them and said, "Okay, I'll take the role. I'll take the role." But they said, "Sorry, we already got Judith Baldwin. We're already shooting. Too late."
Yeah.
So that's what happened with that.
Right. And that's why Tina Louise never got together when they did future reunions on TV or the thing
She actually
they
did once. She did for an episode of Roseanne.
Oh, Roseanne. Okay.
There was an episode of Roseanne where Roseanne had a dream that her and her husband and family were stuck on Gilligan's Island. By the way, the show Roseanne was in the exact same soundstage where they filmed Gilligan's Island, which helped. So anyway,
That's cool. Yeah.
Yes, Roseanne and her family. Roseanne had a dream where her and her family were stuck on Gilligan's Island, and the Gilligan's Island castaways were in her house. So what happened was it showed. I think Roseanne was dressed as maybe the skipper. I'm not a Roseanne fan. I only have it and watch it because I'm a Gilligan's Island fan. But anyway, so her family was each playing a Gilligan's Island castaway, and they would cut and show her house, and then Tina Louise was there playing Ginger again for the last and only time. Does that make sense?
The last and only time. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm guessing that's because Roseanne personally went to her and said, "Please do this." And here, by the way, here's some cha-ching, right? So that was the last time we saw the cast together.
Right. Do you remember also when Gilligan?
Sorry, it's cutting out.
Well, his mic was working for earlier.
Oh, there's Gorilla.
The one thing I really love watching.
Wait, Mikey, it was cutting out. We didn't hear that. Can you repeat it, please?
Hi.
Hello?
Gorilla.
I think you really need an Ethernet cable.
Yeah, Mikey, it's cutting out. We can't hear it.
Hey, hi. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Can you hear me okay? Oh,
yes.
Okay. So what I was saying quickly was, with Family Feud, when Gilligan's Island took on Batman, I love watching that episode solely because Russell Johnson, everybody said he was the professor, right? And they figured, well, but maybe he's just doing that for television. That guy was a highly intelligent actor, and he was the one that beat the Batman cast by himself.
Well, actually, I did show clips on this stream 2 weeks ago from that episode, and Russell Johnson did horrible. Mr. Howell, Jim Backus did the best. Oh, yeah, Mr.
I'm sorry, I got it wrong. I got it wrong. Yeah, Jim Backus. Sorry. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, we also showed that, and we also showed the clip where it was Lost in Space versus Gilligan's Island.
Yeah.
But, by the way, I hope any of you out there listening, at the time, I did recommend say, hey, go on YouTube and look these up. I hope you guys did because those are extremely rare and funny to watch. To actually to see those classic casts get together.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
So we have
They're
Gilligan. Sorry to get
hilarious.
off
Hey,
topic,
should we
guys.
catch up on Chip here real quick before we continue?
Yes, thank you,
Yes, go
girl.
ahead.
And I apologize.
Yeah,
We've got off topic here for like 10 minutes, guys. At least I'm sorry.
Plaxer says air code 619 panelist.exe has encountered a problem and shall restart momentarily.
There's
And
Gorilla.
me saying I'll be back. Computer crashed. The boat was named for Newton Minnow, who Sherwood Shorts believed ruined television. Minnow was chairman of the FCC in 1961 and is known to calling American television a vast wasteland. And Plaxer said Mr. Minnow was a prophet.
yes.
Herc's laughing.
And I want to mention that too is we mentioned that during the original episodes is right. Sherwood Schwartz named the minnow after Newton S. Minnow because Newton S. Minnow was the chairman of the FCC and he said TV was a vast wasteland. So what Sherwood Schwartz did is added an extra N on the boat so we get the USS Minnow. But I know a lot of people, even me when I was a kid, I thought it was named after like the small fish. But it's not. It's after Newton S. Minnow. But
Yes.
what's important, and thank you for reminding me of this, Newton in Minnow passed away just this week.
Wow.
Right. So he just passed May 6th, 2023.
Wow.
So
He just
he was
passed
like in
away.
his 90s. I can't remember because I was reading the article the other day, 3 days ago. And it was like 97 something, some old. Yeah, 97. So yeah, thank you for reminding me. Newton Minnow, the guy who inspired the name of the USS Minnow, just passed away 3 days ago.
Wow. Oh, go
So
ahead,
we have
Gorilla.
Gilligan.
Oh,
yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, Plaxer
Yeah,
says,
the chat. That's right. Thank you, Gorilla.
Yeah, Professor was describing Gilligan as possessing a dense skull. Not enough micro components to make a transmitter out of Gilligan's teeth and thick skull.
That is true.
Herc says, when I flew C-130s during engine start, the loadmaster would stand in front to clear for engine start. His mic cord would be stretched out. When he keyed his mic, it would pick up a radio station. God, he must have had a lot of trust in you guys for that plane to start going forward on him. Plaxer said,
Oh, I remember those
an
days.
antenna needs correct length and geometry to act as an effective receiver. Plaxer says, the electrical conductivity is a necessity for an antenna to collect signals for an attached receiver. Phantom says,
I agree. Yeah, thank you, Plaxer. You're right. Go ahead.
All right. Phantom says earlier versions of the radio systems that I dealt with would pick up random AM stations if they were not properly grounded. Would freak out the customers.
Quick question: anybody out there answer in the chat? Did you guys ever build a crystal AM radio? I did. Radio Shack used to sell. Radio Shack sold electronic kits, and one of them was a crystal radio where you just attached it to any kind of metal and it would run. It didn't need a battery.
Yeah, my dad had an early version of a ham radio at one time.
I always wanted a ham radio.
Yeah, he had an early version of one, and he would take that with him.
Excuse me.
He would take that with him when we'd go on road trips to California to visit my grandparents and uncles and stuff. And every once in a while, he would have us kids try to talk to the truckers on the road with the ham radio.
A ham radio, but they use a CB. So what happened there? Did you pick any of them up?
Yeah, we did with the ham radio. Yeah, the ham had it was a combination. It was a combination of ham and CB. My dad was really good at electronics, so he just.
Well, didn't it require a big antenna, huh? Because I thought I've heard ham radios have a big antenna.
Not at
Some
all.
people have those.
Actually. Yeah, no,
Go
not
ahead.
at all. The antenna was Oh, thank you. No, the antenna was just. It was small enough I mean, you could open it up a little bit when you go outside. Put it outside there or something. We take a rest area break or something. You could play it there and pull up the antenna just a little bit. But you can also bring
Okay,
it down when it was inside the car as we were driving. So,
nice. So I
yeah,
see Herc has a response to my question. Oh yes, I built mini. So yes, I'm not the only one. So I guess I'm not totally
nice.
crazy.
Phantom
No,
says, long
I never
time
said you
ago,
were crazy.
used an empty toilet paper tube wrapped in wire.
Copper wire,
Uh,
I imagine.
Copper, yeah.
Plaxter says, Extol AM radio came packed with a variety of other scientific experiments in a box of parts and wishes.
Oh yes, yes.
All right, that's
Yeah.
all the
So
chats.
okay, so I apologize guys for the tangent. So we have Gilligan playing the exercise guru on the radio while the girls exercise, but unfortunately he keeps turning his head and pulling in other things. Apparently somebody reading Mary had a little or no Goldilocks, and of course the girls are getting upset. Every time Gilligan turns his head, it turns into another station. It's kind of hard to explain because we don't have any sound.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
the girls are getting upset because it's interrupting their exercise routine. Go ahead, Gorilla.
yeah. Now my question is, I was my computer. I was restarting my computer when it came up. Wouldn't Gilligan be too poor for silver fillings? Wouldn't he be getting the mercury ones?
I don't know. It depends on what benefits he had.
Yeah,
Mercury. Wait a minute. Mercury's poisonous. Who uses mercury fillings?
Well, this was back
yeah,
in the
you wouldn't use
'60s, wasn't
mercury.
it? They
No,
used to
they knew
use
then
mercury.
mercury was poisonous.
Oh yeah,
No,
no,
they
no.
knew. Yeah,
Oh, they used.
mercury. Wow.
Well, I know they used to use mercury a while back.
Maybe like during the George Washington days, but no.
All right, I'm gonna fact check this here.
And mercury is liquid metal. Are you sure about that?
They been like a
Okay.
carbon.
So now they want you to. You're not going to waste him. Now they're kind of fighting over
Film.
the radio stations, and Marianne says she wants to
Like,
listen to some soap opera, which makes sense because Marianne has
it was
mentioned
kind
soap
of like
operas in the past. Sorry, what's
you
that?
could just cover up.
You're breaking
Oh
up,
no, I'm
Mikey.
just
We
saying
can't
that
hear you.
we went. I'm so sorry. Well, so we went from basically like a glue, kind of like an adhesive, and then some did have silver, but then there were others that had a kind of mineral like diamond in their teeth. That was for the more rich people.
Yeah, I was gonna say yeah, and gold. Some people use gold.
Gold, yes,
Oh,
gold as well.
okay, this is the answer I got here. Right, I typed into Google. When did they stop using mercury in tooth fillings? And the answer that seems to be popping up here the most is in 2008, the American Dental Association announced that the use of mercury silver or amalgam dental fillings has been banned in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. So they just started banning them in 2008. So he had a mercury silver mixture called uh, al-
Thank you. I
amalgam.
appreciate that.
Yes,
So unless someone
appreciate
can
that.
fact check me better or fact check me on that.
All right, and this is where Marianne's talking about soap opera she wants to listen to, but Ginger wants to listen to the Academy Awards. So in a huff and puff, the girls leave. Gilligan sits down and decides he wants to listen to Goldilocks.
Who's beneath my porch? Who can sleep in my bed?
And that makes him happy.
Yeah.
I can tell you who
Of
wasn't
course.
eating the porridge. Yeah,
And then Mr. Howell, of course, all Mr. Howell is thinking about a way to make money off of that tooth.
Transistor radio by cuspid
I
shortwave. Yeah.
Of course, there's Mrs. Howell.
Yeah.
How to make a buck from teeth, and he laughs. Buck teeth joke.
Yeah. One thing I liked about these episodes, most of the time when the Howls would interact, is that you would think that Thurston Howell III would be the voice of reason, but in fact, Lovey was the voice of reason most of the time.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, she was.
Oh man. And that still gets to me to this day because I would have respected Thurston more if he had more intelligence. But it's amazing that Lovey just was able to be his conscience, so to speak.
Right. But they did show her faults in some episodes. There were some times,
Oh
like
yeah,
during
there
the
was.
beauty
Oh
contest
yeah,
and stuff like that, where her vanity got the
oh,
best of her.
of course.
So now we have Skipper and Professor listening news on the typhoon.
Now
Apparently,
I
it's
got a
nighttime because we
question
can all
here.
see. What's
They're
that?
established. They're out in the middle of nowhere. There's no inhabited islands within like 100 miles. That was established
Well,
in
wait a
the.
minute. Wait. We've had visitors from cannibals and stuff. So you mean civilized islands? Okay, go ahead.
Well, I was going by what they said on the missile test there. That was going to destroy
Right.
everything within 100 miles, so they needed uninhabited islands. So why are they giving hourly reports on this instead of like a report every 6 hours?
Well, because of people who live like in Hawaii, they've also established that they're not too far from Hawaii. But remember, it's a comedy, so to try to explain everything away, it's probably not going to be that easy.
Oh wait, never mind. I
And
think I
they've got a
figured out
map.
my own question.
Okay, well,
Shipping lanes.
which side of the island do you think it will hit first? So they're trying to decide where, and he's got uh, the professor drew a map there. It's too early to
Hey
tell.
guys,
The crucial time should be tomorrow. Yes. Hello.
Yeah, Mikey. Mikey, were you gonna say something? I guess not. Well, you think on an island that small, I don't think the direction it's coming in at it's gonna matter much. Hello?
I'm here.
Okay.
Somebody just come on, or the poop pop.
Oh, yeah, so let's remove this one so we don't get the static there.
There's
there we
Mikey.
go.
Welcome back, Mikey. So we
Oh,
have
thank you
Gilligan
guys.
sleeping, and this. Oh, no problem. This is reverse of what I was talking about during the first episode. Now we have Gilligan sleeping with his mouth open, but unfortunately, it's playing music, and poor Skipper down below is not able to get any sleep. So he wakes up Gilligan and he closes his mouth, but of course he immediately opens it again, and music resumes. Oh, Alan Hale Jr. And he tries putting on the hats to silence, which doesn't do any good. And poor Gilligan, it's not his fault. But he tells Gilligan to go outside and sleep somewhere else. As you can see, Gilligan comes out almost like a zombie as the professor is still listening to the radio. And here we get a little bit of information from the radio, and it's veered towards some uninhabited islands southwest of Hawaii. So that may be dangerous for the castaways. We don't know. And now Madame Legault sings the Kinder area from the opera Pflegenstrassen. So we get some German music. You would think Gilligan would keep his mouth shut because you think it would be keeping him awake too.
What was
But I
that
don't.
a?
And it,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
well, I was going to say, and whatever the opera is, a lady is singing, and the pitch breaks the professor's glass.
Yeah, it was an operatic area, and it went
Wait a sec. What happened to their coconut glasses?
oh yeah, what
I don't
happened
know.
to
I guess
those?
they. You mean coconut cups?
The coconut
Yeah.
cups. Yeah, what happened to those? Continuity, maybe.
Now remember, they've showed the Howells drinking from glasses before.
Yeah.
I
I
remember
guess
the
they're
episode
all
a
in
couple
the
weeks ago.
dishwasher.
Well, remember the episode a couple weeks ago where Gilligan was a servant and he was making them drinks and he had glasses?
Huh.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the same ones.
I thought those were
So-
made of coconut too.
Uh,
Just shaped
I don't know. I'd
differently.
have to watch it again. But here's where Professor says you're jamming the radio. Well, maybe you'd better go back in the hut. And Skipper Ginger getting tired. I can always tell. Gilligan says no. He shakes his head. That pretty much Skipper told him not to go back into the hut. So he says, I see you keeping the skipper awake, so you've got to find someplace else to sleep. And he keeps closing his mouth. And I'm going to point out something else here. Here's where we have Gilligan along the Howl hut. And he collapses with his mouth open. We have Mr. Howe come out and almost stumbles over. Gilligan, my boy, people are sleeping. And he closes his mouth, and Gilligan realizes he has to move. This is the first episode that we've seen in 2 years now where they actually show different huts for everybody. So now he's outside the girls' hut.
Right.
Because
right.
so many episodes, they would show the same hut and they would just slightly redress it. But this is the first time we've seen exteriors for the different huts. We don't see the professor's hut.
But if Gilligan was thinking right, he would have just gone to the professor's hut and hopped in the professor's bed.
Yeah, that would be a good place. So, yeah, Professor, I'm going to crash in your place till you get in there.
Yeah.
And Professor's still continuing to listen to the radio. And Gilligan, unfortunately, bumps into the table and knocks over the radio. And he picks him up and says, Gilligan, you're right. You've got to be more careful. You can't. And apparently that fall cured Gilligan. He is not a human radio.
But he destroyed the radio.
Yeah, unfortunately the radio isn't a radio anymore either, says the professor. Well, good. We need some peace and quiet around here, says Gilligan. Well, I didn't think of that. Well, and then Professor said, but yeah, you destroyed the radio. And he said, yeah, I didn't think of that. Well, maybe it's not coming this way. And just as he says that, they hear thunder. And we get the stock footage from the very beginning. You don't know why it does this.
Yeah, stock footage, right.
Right, the same stock footage when it says that weather started getting rough.
Yes.
Now it cuts the next day, and the professor is trying to fix the radio. And Mr. Howell giving him advice, which is I would not trust because Mr. Howell knows nothing at all about electronics. Without those weather reports, we're in real trouble, says the professor. Yes, and from the look of those clouds, says the skipper, about sundown tomorrow, and it'll hit hard. Captain, order abandon island. But of course, where are they going to go? And they say, well, Gilligan broke it. Let him fix it. Gilligan is hardly an electronic wizard. Hey, oh, is that so? Can you turn yourself into... Yes. Sorry.
Phantom Boomer sent you a link on how to make those crystal radios there.
Thank you, Phantom Boomer. If you could send it to my Twitter, I appreciate it. Anything that somebody sends me in this stream will disappear when the stream is over.
He sent it to your Twitter.
Thank you. Got it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that, Phantom Boomer.
Yeah, Plaxer says Bikini Atoll was still a guarded series of events during this episode's writing and airing.
That's true.
I think he's talking about the nuclear testing.
The atomic testing.
Yeah, the nuclear testing. Yeah, the atomic bomb testing on the atoll. Yeah.
So now's where right. So now's where they're realizing they have no radio. So Mr. Howell comes with the idea. Well, if we hit him again, you think he would turn into a radio? And he picks up a rock. Now wait a minute. It's only a soft rock, he says. But a little mayhem may save us all. Well, you belt them with a rock. Well, that's better. So they decide. Of course, what you do is you sneak up on him and then you hit him. And of course, Skipper will not hear of any of that. And poor Gilligan, who has not been getting any sleep. And he has any luck with the radio. There's a piece of copper wiring around here somewhere. Maybe that'll help. So Skipper starts to look for copper wiring. And Gilligan is nodding off, saying, yes, Skipper, if I was a radio, we wouldn't be in such trouble. I want to be a radio again. So now is where Gilligan comes up with the idea that he tells the skipper to hit him as hard as he can in the mouth. Yeah, hit me in the mouth as hard as you can. Gilligan, little buddy. That's the most noble sacrifice anyone has ever made. And then Gilligan starts to hesitate and says, no, in fact, I think the chicken in me is coming out. And the skipper says, let's go outside. And now they're excited already. And they say, Marianne, guess what Gilligan's going to let me do? And they tell her he's going to let me belt him in the mouth again. And of course, she's all excited. Oh, such heroism shouldn't go unrewarded. Now it's Ginger's turn. Oh, Ginger. Oh, there he is. Gilligan, Marianne just told me you're going to throw out.
I can think of a few ways Mary Ann can repay him. Reward him.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. Gilligan, Marianne just told me you're going to save our lives, says Ginger. I just always knew that you had your heart in the right place. And Gilligan says, take a look at my teeth. It's the last time they'll be in the right place. And of course, she leaves, and the skipper says, I guess she can't stand the sight of blood either. And now Mrs. Howell's turn. Oh, please, Mrs. Howell, no more argument now. We've made up our minds. I just want to remember him as he was, she says. Felt him good, Captain. Yes,
Then you
Mrs.
can have the
Howell.
fun away from it by giving him permission.
That's right. And of course, Skipper's hesitant. He doesn't want to punch Gilligan.
Okay, Skipper.
But all the
And he tells
stills
Gilligan,
yeah, you know how he is hesitant and he doesn't want to do it, but every single still you got, he has like that smile, like, yeah, I finally get to belt him in the face kind of look on his face, just like this one. He looks
yes,
so jittery on it. Every
right.
single still you
Yeah.
got of it.
So he tells Gilligan to close his eyes, and when he does that, he tries to sneak off. And Gilligan notices, I was just going to wash my hand, he says. You're afraid to hit me because I might hit you back. And he said, no, just wait a minute, Gilligan, says the skipper. That's nothing. And he calls him a fatso. And he said, that's nothing but muscle, and I don't want you to ever forget it. And he calls him a fatso again. He said, go ahead, go. So he's trying to make the skipper upset so he'll slug him. And Skipper, I'm sorry, guys, I'm getting tired. Oh, little buddy, I see exactly what you're trying to do. All right, line up and close your eyes, he says. And of course, as he gets ready to, we have Mr. Howell come in. The clean blow, I'll reward you both ears and tail. Both in what? And then he says that as soon as he says that, Gilligan moves his hand. And unfortunately, Skipper hits the tree, which tips over.
Now, you want to explain
Olay.
that to us young bucks?
What part?
Ears and tails?
Ears and a tail.
Ears and
forget.
tail?
Well-
I'm sorry.
Mr. Howell comes over and goes, if you do it, I'll pay you all in like ears and a tail.
I think it's I give him a prize, like pin a tail on a donkey. Hold on a second, I'll look it up. No, I don't want to look at anime.
Maybe.
I keep looking at garbage, so I'm guessing it's like rewarding them.
Cute it again.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Can
Mikey?
you guys hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was
we
about
didn't hear. Yeah, we didn't hear what you said, Mikey.
Oh, what I was saying was is that when he goes, "Ole!" and by the way, if I recall correctly, when he hit that prop tree, that is a genuine reaction. That wasn't scripted. That was real. He hurt himself when he hit that prop tree.
Well, it's possible, but you can see the base of the tree where it's obviously clear cut.
Yes. But I mean his reaction for hitting it is genuine. That wasn't scripted.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
That wasn't scripted. Yeah. I found that out. Yeah.
And here Mr. Howell is building a trap for Gilligan where he has a bag of money that's supposed to hit Gilligan in the head, and he explains that to her. He opens the door. This brings this hand that holds his pointed little head. And zing, zow, and he has a radio again. Oh, that's ingenious of you, darling, says Mrs. Howell. You've got to do it. Of course, she's always complimenting him. You've got to do it yourself.
Right.
I don't know the first thing I've ever done, she says. Stand aside. There's an element of danger. I'll call the little nitwit. And we have Gilligan here working on a contraption. And Mr. Howell is yelling, Gilligan, Gilligan, come in here. When I give an order, men jump, he says. And Gilligan says he's actually busy this time. And he's getting ready to say gross insubordination. But he says gross
Right.
insub.
Yeah.
Gilligan, and he calls him again and again. And as he does, the trap springs and it hits Mr. Howell. And Mr. Howell is dazed.
Yeah.
Now it's
Mr. Howell
nighttime,
doesn't
so
have
apparently
any silver fillings.
no, he doesn't. And supposedly, I guess Gilligan has been working on this contraption all day and night because now it's dark. So apparently, he's building a self bonking on the head contraption, which is pretty smart. So it's got a pedal there, and he's trying to balance it out where when he pushes down, it hits him on the head. And it's not working after all these hours. So he decides to sit down and tie his shoe. And when he does that, it works.
Boom.
Okay. I got some chat here.
Thank you.
Plaxer says soft rock.
Yeah, soft rock, like Fleetwood Mac. Just kidding.
Well, here's where I want to get to. Phantom Boomer says bullfighting. The Plaxer says reward with ears and a tail. The judge awards the dancer / fighter with these items upon completion of the event. Having the ears and the tail of the bull awarded is a sign of a particularly good fight.
That makes sense. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's why I love the people in the chat because if we don't know the answers, they certainly do.
Yeah, very intellectual. Thank you, Plaxer. Yeah, appreciate that. Because I didn't even know what that meant. Yeah, I didn't even know what that meant. The ears and the tail. Even I didn't.
But it does make sense. So Gilligan has been hit on the head, and he realizes he's now radio again. And there's a radio announcer. The first thing we get out of his mouth is, "In a moment, the latest on the typhoon." And Gilligan's surprised. What does? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hello?
I'll just keep going.
Sorry. The typhoon took a severe easterly turn. And now they're sitting there, and then Gilligan is all excited, tells them he fixed it. And trying to point that the radio is now working, and they realize it. He's a radio again. Now, imagine the chances of that. You did it, little buddy. How'd you do it? Of course, as soon as he opens his mouth to tell him he's not able to. He says, "Well, I'll get Lovey," of course. So they go get Lovey. And now they all head to the cave because the typhoon is kicking in.
Right.
Without Amanda Blazer. So you're trying to decide who goes in first. Of course, ladies first. You got to have that. And of course, Mr. Howell says, "No, but I have a reserved seat."
Yeah, he would have made a terrible ship's captain.
No, that wasn't his expertise.
No,
he said before that he's owned many ships, but he's never commanded them.
Right.
Step to the rear of the bus, please, Lovey. God. Look at that look on her face.
No, you'd think they'd have this all figured out before the typhoon hit. They will have had practice runs.
Yeah, I guess that would have been a good idea.
Now, I got in it. This is where I kind of had an issue with the continuity of the show because they probably thought we didn't notice. So far, we've seen what 4, 5, 6 caves on the island.
I think so.
And so far, they picked the small. They showed this one in the smallest cave. Like there was a cave that they had in the first. That was big enough to fit all of them, plus the crates with room.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Have hammocks and everything in there. So why did they pick this cave for to protect themselves from the typhoon?
Comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we try to explain this away. It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, I know, but it's just like something like that.
That's why I'm not going to cover. Yeah, somebody was asking me the other night if I would do Hogan's Heroes. It's like, no, I'm not going to cover comedy anymore. When you try to explain it away, you ruin it.
I'm sorry.
Not you. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying with comedy. By the way, I'll be right back.
I'm sorry. It's just that's just my analytical brain there, just going straight to that. It's like, we know they got bigger caves. Why didn't they just go to it?
Well, you were just mentioning about the caves, and I was saying there was an episode on Gilligan's Island about a Dracula type character, and I think what they did is they took some of those earlier cave sets that you were talking about and used it and expanded on those sets a little bit to make it look like it was the Dracula caves. Because I remember that episode. And I thought maybe that's what they did. And I might be right. Or I may be wrong. I don't know for sure. So, but that's cool. You picked you brought that up, gorillas. Yeah. Oh, Flaxter said a couple more things there, gorillas.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna wait till Pop gets back. But
Okay.
no, that's kind of the
I'm
issue.
back.
That's kind of the issue that we have nowadays. Back in the '60s, it probably was a big deal, but nowadays when we can watch these back to back to back like this, and all of a sudden you kind of notice these things. That's the hard part about the comedy too.
Well, we're watching them once a week, and that's how they were shown back then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe they weren't expecting people to pay attention.
yeah. See, that's hard. That's why I'm always saying comedy is so hard to review and all that because yeah, this is meant for the laughs and all that. They not being able to fit in the cave and all that. But you know, when we're reviewing and thinking about this, is like, wait a minute, what? I don't know. That's why comedy is so hard to review. Like the way we
Well,
do.
for the purpose of comedy, they were hoping that you'll suspend disbelief.
Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm getting too over analyzing on this.
Okay, so
Oh, we got two chats here though.
all
Plaxer
right, go
says, "I
ahead.
only know what I am allowed," and Plaxer says, "Explaining a joke removes the timing, thus flattens punchlines."
It
Totally
does.
agree, Plaxter. I totally agree with that comment. Yes, I do.
I have to tell you this is telling a joke is I know how to tell a joke. I've got enough practice telling a joke that it's funny. I never laugh at my own jokes because that's not funny. But I can be around people who have a good sense of humor and understand jokes, say the jokes, and people will laugh. And then the way jokes work is you move on to the next joke. Okay, then this person says a joke and then everybody laughs. And then this person says a joke and everybody laughs. This person says a joke, everybody laughs. That's how comedy's supposed to work. But I had a job that sent me to the deep south, and I learned. Oh my god! I said a joke. I don't remember the joke now. All I remember is the reaction. Is I said a joke, and they were like, "Ha ha ha! Boy, that sure was funny. Wasn't that funny? That joke? How he said this?" And then they all started saying, "Yeah, wasn't that joke funny? Yeah, don't you just love how that joke said this?" And they went on and on, talking about that one joke, and I never said a joke again as long as I was in the deep south. Because that's not how a joke works. You don't overanalyze it or question it because it's not fun anymore. And I regretted saying that joke. I was like, okay, no more jokes for me.
Yeah,
Well, because they have in the deep south pop, they have a lot of what we call sarcasm. So, in the way you were describing that, that's exactly what they were giving you. Nothing but sarcasm for the whole
No,
thing.
no, I'll give you an example. Let's just say we've all heard the joke. Why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? Let's just use that as an example. So let's say I said to them,
Right.
why did the chicken cross the road? And they'd say, I don't know why. And I'd say, to get to the other side. Ah, ha, ha. Boy, that chicken sure did get to the other side, didn't it? Ha, ha. Can you imagine what would have happened if that chicken didn't get to the other side? Oh, that sure is funny. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Talking about chicken cross the road. That's what I'm talking about. They went on and on about that. They weren't being sarcastic. They weren't smart enough for that. I decided, I said, oh, never mind, guys. Never mind. No more jokes. I'm not saying they were dumb. It's just they didn't understand humor, is all I'm saying. Okay, so now we have them cramming in the cave,
Right.
and here's where they decide they're not going to be able to fit everybody in there with the crates. So they decide, well, the girls can get in the cave, obviously, ladies first. And of course, Mr. Howell immediately decides to follow them. And Gilligan opens his mouth, and unfortunately, we get the radio again. And we all try to cram in there. And I think this is funny here. I love this scene. And Skipper can't you get any further? Of course, Gilligan's stranded on the floor, and there's poor Skipper in the back. It's too bad they don't show a shot from the outside with his fat butt sticking outside. That'd be funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Perhaps if we all inhale. Yeah, yeah, all inhale and then squeeze in there where nobody can breathe. And the professor says it's no use. We'll have to try another formation. So they tell the skipper to step out. And the skipper says, "If you can get off my foot, now don't bruise Mrs. Howell," says Mr. Howell. So now it's really a tight squeeze in there, isn't it? It's just not big enough for all of us. Mr. Howell, is that cave just not big enough for all of a sudden people are trying to explain to him? The wind is kicking up. And Mr. Howell says, perhaps we want a diet, high proteins, no bread, potatoes. That is an actual diet. I
I
know a
think you're
friend
already
that
on that diet.
I know a friend that went on that diet, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I lost a lot of weight, but unfortunately, he lost a lot of muscle tissue as well." So I don't recommend that diet to anybody.
Lemon Pie
I
just
mean,
said something funny.
Yeah, just not
Sorry.
get. We're not giving
go
medical
for it.
advice.
Go for it.
We don't cotton the jokes around here, boy. I tried to sound like the Deep South there just then.
Well, I can do
Very
that. We
nice.
don't cotton the jokes around here, boy.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what else to say to you, boy.
That
Try
was one thing
again.
too. Is I was there for like almost 2 years, and people there were telling me, "Well, you still, even after like a year or two, you
Yeah.
still sound like you're from California." Most people when they move out here, they start changing and starting to sound like a southern accent. And I said, "No, never, no, no offense, but no."
No, no.
I'll never say y'all. I'll never say Finn. I'll never say fixin'. No, I'm an English teacher.
Uh-uh.
No.
Nope. Nope.
Skipper around
Which
here,
is
I'm
great,
ordering one
by the
back
way,
in the
but
cave,
that's
says the
another
skipper.
discussion.
We haven't got time to decide who's. So now they're deciding somebody's going to have to stay outside the cave. They're not all going to fit. And they're arguing who.
Right.
And they say we haven't got time to decide who's the most necessary or the most heroic, says the professor. And of course, Mr. Howell immediately volunteers to go in, and we get a clap of thunder. And the typhoon is almost upon us. I know, but back home we usually have a board of directors. Of course, Mr. Howell wants to drag it out, install.
Right.
Then we vote. Then we all go to the country, and then sometimes the proxies defer. No, no. In that case, in a tie, so the professor grabs sticks, and they're going to see who draws the shortest stick. And Gilligan takes his stick and actually breaks it. He has the longest one, but without people, he turns his back and without people looking, he breaks the stick. So, oh, by George, you're the lucky one, the short one. And of course, he's all happy. He gets to go in. So they all rush inside. Little buddy, you've hardly got any ballast. Anybody tell me what ballast is? I covered that on my stream a couple weeks ago on the Lost Space. You guys remember?
Yeah.
I guess the support.
Ballast. Yeah, ballast is like the support. Right. You're right.
Weight.
The weight.
Weight holding something down, right? And balance.
Yes.
Little buddy, you've hardly got any ballast. Hang on now and hang on real tight. So there's that tree.
Yeah.
Like that tree. How many times have you seen Gilligan holding onto a tree where the wind whips up and he lifts up his feet
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
and he opens his mouth and we get rock and roll playing. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
Right.
No, I thought this was pretty funny that now they're talking about they're going to frame
Excuse
those.
me.
And you know what? I just wanted to say that was.
Hello?
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I thought
I believe
this-
that was the same tree.
That's what I was. It's breaking up, Mikey. We didn't hear what you said. Hello?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Just to quickly say that the tree that he's can you hear me?
Now I do.
Okay.
Oh, okay. No, what I was saying was that the tree that he's holding on to in this episode, I believe, is the same tree that he was holding on to when they did Rescue from Gilligan's Island, when the big storm, the one that they were worried about, hit the entire island. I believe it's the same tree.
I don't know. It's possible, but considering the Rescue from Gilligan's Island was filmed 16 years later, it's maybe unlikely. I think they had to rebuild the entire set for that movie because they don't just keep the set around for no reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
When the
right,
set
okay.
when the show goes off the air, The first thing they do is they clear it out and start filming another show. So I'm sure there was another show that immediately filmed here after Gilligan Dawn was canceled. They may have kept
Like
the
I said,
props.
yeah, I'm sorry. I just to me it looked like the same tree to me
Okay, well that's
as
fine.
far
You
as
don't
the
have to
prop.
apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what I was saying here, I thought this was so funny that that Lovey wanted to sit there and frame and make a frame for that straw and all that, and show that off to their friends and stuff.
Well, because it's the first time Mr. Howell's shown bravery. It's funny. Of course, he's even bragging, and then they're all realizing that there it is, a family scrapbook, gold plated, of course. And here's where the skipper realized, wait a minute, hold that straw up. Gilligan's was shorter than mine.
Yeah.
He says, everybody stay here.
Oh,
And he goes back for Gilligan.
yeah. Plaxter answers the question in the chat, by the way.
Go for it.
Ballast goes onto the lowest part of the hull to offset weight above, provides displacement stability.
Stability.
Then Scurvy Preventer here said, did they ever say California?
But wait, you mean did they mention California in Gilligan's Island?
Oh, yeah, probably a couple times.
Maybe.
Or at least
Yeah.
locations within California?
Yeah.
I think the
Hollywood.
house, they mentioned they have a house in California. Or at least one.
Yeah. I guess they did mention Hollywood a few times.
So here's where Professor tells Gilligan that he knows that he had the longest straw, and he broke it in half. And Gilligan admits we were all on the up and up. But he wants to stay out there. See, so Gilligan is brave. He may not be the smartest. Well, the professor, he says the professor that he can't open his mouth and talk, so he's just motioning to his head, and Skipper says, "Well, the professor is important to us too." And he shows his ring finger and says, "Mr. Howell, I know he's married. What about you? You're important too." Gilligan shakes his head no. Well, come on, look at all the important things you do. Well, once in a while we get into trouble, and you get us into more trouble. And Gilligan tells him to go back. But you know why I'm out here? When that typhoon. And by the way, this episode had to be easy for Bob Denver. He didn't have to learn a lot of lines.
Yeah.
And the brave skipper is there's no way he's going to leave his buddy. What's that?
Yeah, you have to have an easy paycheck every once in a while.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they're still saying, isn't there any way all 7 of us can fit in here?
Yeah.
And the professor says he's.
Pop. Oh yeah, sorry. I wanted to ask you a quick question. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Off screen from the episodes did
Oh, he roboted out again.
still getting interference. Oh, yeah, I was.
Do you have a loose connection, Mikey?
Tom Denver and Don Wells have some.
Mikey, do you have a loose connection, Mikey?
I'm
What's
sorry.
going on over there? Is
Can
something
you hear me
like
okay?
maybe loose? Yeah, every time you say that, it changes, and then we can hear you. So what happens to make it where we don't hear you? Is something loose? Hello? 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 Hello?
Not loose the night before, so yeah. Hello, 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 hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
When's the last time you restarted your computer?
I can restart it again if you want me to. I'll go ahead.
No, when's the last time you did it though?
Give me a minute.
That shouldn't make a difference.
Oh. Well, he'll be back. He'll be back. Because sometimes that helps. That helps Mike.
Sorry about that. We'll see you when you come back, Mikey. So now the professor realizes that he feels bad. And now he comes up with the excuse, I have claustrophobia. I hope it isn't catching, they say.
Hola.
Welcome back, Mikey.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And here's where Skipper says, Professor, I order you back in the cave.
Yeah.
and he's after the storm, and they all realize, well, if one person, and I like this too. It shows the bravery of everybody. If poor Gilligan's going to stay out there, well, then they're going to stay out there too, and I like that. I would do the same thing.
Yeah. Now, Mikey, what was that question you had?
The question I had was there? I heard a rumor that Don Wells and Bob Denver did have a relationship outside the episodes. Is that true or not?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Okay.
Wait, did
No.
they sit in the back there and there smoke marijuana together, or did cocaine together or something like that?
Okay. Both of them at some points were busted for marijuana possession, but I don't know if they smoked together. And Bob Denver was already married to his wife Dreama at the time. In fact, she came to the set a lot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. He was
And
married. I remember that
Bob
now.
Denver, right? He has a website, bobdenver.com, and I believe his wife just recently passed away. But there's a lot of
Oh,
information about him and his wife on there. You can look it up.
that's cool. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that she passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's where even Mr. Howell finally realizes that, hey, all the men are out there, and Mr. Howell's gonna be brave. So when the chips are down, he's willing to do what's necessary, and I do like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Of course, he's still a clown. And then they ask him why. He says, "Well, I just stepped out for a breath of fresh air." Mr. Howell, why don't you go back and calm the women? You must explore it sometime, Professor. And of course, Mrs. Howell is not going to do without Thurston. Oh, my dear lovey, a storm is about to hit. I know, Thurston. And you'll be killed. You mean we will? So they figure we'll die together if anybody's going to die. And of course, when they say that, here come the girls.
Yeah.
Really, miss. And see right here in a nutshell, is why I love this show so much. Because they're a
Yes.
family. They love each other. They're willing to risk each other's lives for each other. And when the chips are down, they'll stick with each other. And that's what makes this show so good and so exceptional above everything that's been made since.
Yeah. You know, you know what with this wind picking up like this, this reminded me of a story of of course, is the Florida man. Man, every good story starts with Florida man. But there's a hurricane bearing down on Florida. It's like F4 or not F4, category 4 or 5 hurricane was bearing down on Florida, and he said, "Hurricanes don't kill you, and I'll prove it." He tied himself to a tree and all that. Well,
You must have seen too many Gilligan's Island episodes.
I can't remember if the guy survived or not, but he forgot the fundamental rule. It doesn't matter how hard the wind's blowing; it's what the wind is blowing.
Yeah, I've seen video where a straw, I'm talking about a plastic drinking straw, was stuck through a tree.
Yeah, that's from some of those F5 tornadoes and all that. I seen one where some gal was reporting on a hurricane down in Florida. There, she was sitting there reporting it in the middle of the street. Then she got smacked with a stop sign.
Oh, how nice. I'll be right back, guys. Sorry.
It's like, here's your sign. Plaxter says air code 415 unsupported media type. And the Lemon Pie says, I meant, did anyone in the Deep South respond in recoil at the mention of Florida?
Or California.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would imagine that some in the Deep South consider Californians brainless. But then again, some people in California consider most people in the Deep South as being, rednecks. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah.
No,
So
Mikey, but I got a question for you, though. When's the last
yeah,
time you turned your computer off and back on?
that I turned it off and back on. It's been a while. I mean, I haven't really done a full shutdown. If that's what you're asking.
Maybe
I
after
was
the
putting
stream. After the stream, do that because your computer might need to do an update. I think that might be a problem. Because Streamlabs does not like to run properly when a computer needs to update. What? What was that, Mikey? Hello? Mikey? Can you hear us?
Oh no, it was it's yeah, I can hear you now for sure.
Yeah. So tonight
Yeah, my
after
headphones can hear you guys perfectly.
okay, so after what you should probably try and try there is turn off your computer. I might say restart and update too.
Yeah,
So you might want to try that tonight. Even just turn it off, then just turn it back on when you're ready to use your laptop again or your computer.
yeah, just shut it completely down. I'll have to clear all the history too. I'll have to do that. But I
No,
know
you
what to
won't.
clear. Well, no. I mean, I the way it's set up is that I have everything I'm allowed to do to clear for history. But the one thing I don't clear is passwords. I always keep the passwords available. So,
Oh, you shouldn't have to clear your history and all that. You should just like basically it's just restart rebooting your computer is pretty much you won't have to clear your history or nothing.
oh, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, I'm gonna do a restart tonight then for sure.
Yeah, because it probably because like mine there
Yeah,
it'll say like shut. It says like shut down or sleep, shut down, or restart. But if there's an
yeah,
if I need to update my computer, it'll say like sleep, shut down, restart, and update and restart.
yeah. I had to update before I came onto this chat. I had to update my Chrome. I have Chrome, so I
No,
had to
no,
update
no,
that.
no. The whole computer has an update.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
I've had those issues. I know what you're talking about, and I've had the issue before. So what I have done is update and restart. I've always done that.
I don't know
And
why
then
Pop's apologizing.
yeah,
He
Pop,
puts
you don't need to apologize.
No, I was talking to the chat because we're getting off topic, and when this is going on, it
Oh, we
doesn't
were just
matter.
waiting for you to come back. We were just waiting for you to come
Yeah, I've
back.
been listening for a couple minutes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
cool.
So, so yeah, I think I might. So, I think I know what Mikey's issue is here with his mic and all that. So, let's keep going.
All right. So here's where the wind really kicks in, and they turn around to run inside the cave.
Yeah,
But as soon as they do that,
yeah.
sorry, what's that?
Keep going. Sorry.
Did you did you need to say something, Mikey? Hello,
I,
hello. Were you trying to say something, Mikey?
okay, that's it. Thunder. Yeah, no, I was just reading what you just last had where it says, oh, okay, that's it. I was just reading along with that. And Thunder. Because I didn't hear anything
Oh,
from you guys, so didn't know what was going
Oh,
on.
Pop was talking there.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
so
Sorry.
they turn and run towards the cave, and just as they do that, a boulder above the cave falls and blocks the entrance. And the professor says it's destroyed. There it is.
Yeah.
And little buddy, we came out to save you, and you saved us. So once again, Gilligan saves the day.
Yes.
And we come back the next day where they're clearing up all the mess from the storm. Come on, Romeo. I'm gonna take my dog. Of course, he wants attention. There we go.
Aw.
And
And of
apparently,
course,
electricity fixed his tooth.
right. Apparently, electricity fixed his tooth off camera, which is a hint. That's good. And now they mentioned Benjamin Franklin, and he says, "I don't remember anybody by that name sailing on the minnow."
Uh,
Of course, Gilligan's not going to know. Well, he experimented with electricity 150 years ago, says the professor. Huh? An old man like that could have never lasted through the storm. And he took vitamin pills and things like that. I didn't know he was sick, says Gilligan. Will you start cleaning up the beach, says the professor. Says Skipper.
I think
Agreed.
they
We'll get our
must have just
clothing.
gotten brushed by that typhoon instead of taking the full force of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, right? But it makes sense. Expect the worst and then hope that it's for the best. And that's what they did. And it was great. It didn't hurt anybody. They didn't lose their food supply. They didn't even get wet. The rain didn't even kick in.
Yeah.
It was just enough for them to realize that Gilligan once again saved the day, so that's good. Okay, as a reminder, if you have not voted in the chat, if you're still listening, if you're still here, please take the opportunity to vote. Let us know what you think, if you like the episode or the stream, and I will be showing the results of that poll right here. Let's cover that. But I'll tell you what. Let's. I'm going to ask you guys on the panel first, and then that'll give people in the chat a chance to vote. So, Gorilla's random thoughts. Which of these two episodes that we covered tonight did you like the best?
Oh, that'd be the typhoon one.
The
I think
second one.
it was really funny listening to Gilligan on the radio, and they're fighting over Gilligan, all that, and the typhoon and all that. Even though I really did nitpick the whole cave thing. I know it was meant to be funny and all that, but it's just hard to focus on that small cave. It's like, I swear we just saw a cave not too long ago that was like 20 times bigger than that one. But overall, I still laughed at it. Still good jokes and all that. Actually, it reminded me of that Florida man story and stuff. And it's good innocent humor and stuff. I learned a few new things from that episode and all that. The other one was pretty good, with the cosmonauts, but I still like the typhoon one. It seemed more down to earth and realistic and funnier than the Russian one.
Very cool. And that capsule that we saw in the first one, it'll make an appearance again later on, repainted and dressed differently. So yeah, they definitely use those props over and over, which I can understand. Mikey, which episode did you like the best? Share us your opinion.
Well, when you first did the poll, I actually said I prefer the Russian one first, because remember it was during the Cold War, as you mentioned. So
Uh-huh.
for the fact that they were able to put so-called Russians and Americans together on one place, and that they were able to party, with vodka and the drinks and things like that. I thought that kind of eased the Cold War tensions that was really going on at the time behind the scenes, and I thought that was probably important to see that you know everybody is not uh, you know is not unlike uh, that they do have their own uh, traditions. Let's say that they each have
Uh-huh.
their own traditions, but we're all the same, you know, red-blooded people,
Right.
and I thought
It's the governments that are different. The people are all the same.
exactly, and I thought that was why the first episode to me appealed more because you could laugh together as a Russian or as an American. I mean, even Khrushchev, I think, said at the time, uh, I think it was after Khrushchev, but one of those Russian premier leaders said that Gilligan's Island, especially this episode, was one of their favorites because they thought these are people that are both stuck in a similar situation, but somehow they got together, they worked together. These were not opposing countries. These were people that were just working together for a common goal. And the second one, of course, was very close to family, which is what you said before. And I did appreciate the fact that that was more family oriented, that they believed they were all together as a family. So, but I like the Nyet one just barely better than the Nyet one.
But
Absolutely.
I
Thank
think
you.
Mike is onto something. I got a brilliant idea.
What's
They
that?
take, he said they take all these different government people from around the world and they put them on the same island and they manage to get along together.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's take all these leaders from across the world and all these politicians. Let's just all stick them on an island there and let us all just be ourselves.
Right. It'd be like Lord of the Flies. We'll be at each other's throats and we'll see who survives. Well, we know who will survive. Putin, right? Can you imagine him actually physically
Oh,
fighting Biden? I mean, who would win? Come on.
oh,
Yeah, but
come
you're
on.
forgetting that there's a bunch of other ones that could fight too. We're talking
I
every
know, but
single
okay,
leader.
we have Winnie the Pooh who's in charge of China, right? But think about it. The Russian leader is, I mean, the guy works out and he's buff.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, but you got the younger, halfway strong leaders there, and then you got the warlords of Africa.
Yeah, and then you have Trudeau, who'd probably run to Biden for help.
Yeah, he's a
Yeah,
coward.
hey,
Yeah,
no,
definitely.
no, no, no. He'll put some shoe polish on, then go run for help.
Oh yeah, there we
Right.
go.
Okay, so
Allegedly.
I like both episodes because I'm a big Gilligan's Island fan. But
Yes.
if I had to choose between the two, I preferred the second one. Like I said before, because of the family, where they
Yes.
stuck together against all odds, even though it was fantastical and unbelievable with the radio coming out of Gilligan's mouth. That doesn't bother me at all because I understand for the use of comedy that it was a driving device. But what was holding the episode together was the fact that there was a typhoon coming. They knew they were in danger. That's a serious threat, and the fact that they're able to cover a serious threat on a comedy series without making us at home worry about them too much. I love that, and that's one of the reasons why I love Gilligan's Island in the first place. There's many times where they face deadly threats, but they're able to resolve it using comedy and the family all together. And so, yeah, second episode was definitely my favorite
Yes.
between the two. That is, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to end the poll. I hope everyone had a chance to vote. And then I'm going to share that with everybody so we can see the results and see
Go
what
for it.
other people, the beautiful people in the chat thought. And there we go. So, which episode did you like best? Yet, not yet, or Fi Gilligan? And it looks like yet. Excuse me, I hate coughing on mic. Hold on. That's what I get for laughing. It looks like yet, not yet. Got the most votes at 60%. It was almost close though. Hi-Fi
Yeah.
Gilligan got 40%. Excellent voting, you guys. Thank you. And I do
Yes. Very
agree. I mean,
appreciated.
they were. I love both episodes. They're very close, neck and neck. So yeah, I appreciate the votes, and that's one of the reasons why I like the Gilligan's Island polls. Is I don't have to put A through F. I can just put which episode did you like best, and that way I can tell that it's true Gilligan fans in the chat.
Yeah, that's the best
And
way to do it. That's the best way to do it, Pop. It really is. Yeah.
it is. And I really once again thank you everybody. We had a lot of people tonight come and go in the chat, and I appreciate that. I hope you were able to stick through it as much as possible. Is there any chat that I'm missing, Gorilla? Do you know,
No, we
or
got
how are
it
we
all.
doing? Okay, very cool. And everybody voted, and the panelists voted. So let's start with Gorilla. Gorilla, tell us about your channel, please.
Um, I got a bunch of shorts and all that. I think I just got an idea for a string of shorts and all that. Wednesdays, next week we're gonna do the 5 episodes of 5 days to midnight there about a
Okay.
guy who finds out he's gonna be murdered in 5 days for a watch party. Then after that, we're thinking of doing Justified. That's pretty much about a cowboy marshal, put it that way.
Okay.
Then Fridays are Walton's reviews. Our next episode will be having Germ going on a rant there with the deed. Then Saturday, this one's with asterisks there. If I'm home on time, there'll be Babylon 5. Otherwise, I'll have to postpone it a week. It all depends on when I get home. Then
Okay.
Sunday will be Otis and Milo and Otis for a watch party. Then I'm thinking of tomorrow I won't be able to do it, but I'm gonna try to find some days to do a little bit more streaming of my gaming, or maybe even start with Trek Talk with Gorilla. One of the two.
Oh, very cool. That's a good idea. And thank you, Gorilla, for being here and helping me out tonight. I really
Yeah, not
appreciate it. It means a
problem.
lot. Mikey, tell us about
Yeah.
yourself and or channel.
Okay, so my Mikey Sues 4 channel we'll be doing our, well, what is considered my 12th webcam slash live stream. We will be talking about next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, which I believe is 4 Central and 2 o'clock Pacific Time. We're going to be talking about everything Indiana Jones. We're going to discuss the four movies prior. We're going to discuss the young Indiana Jones that featured Sean Patrick Flannery. And then we're going to talk about Dial of Destiny because it will be approximately 2 months and 2 days when I do the chat when Dial of Destiny comes out in theaters. So I wanted to hear your opinions and what you think is going to be in the movie, what's going to happen with it, and so forth. So that's going to be my one live stream and web chat will be next Wednesday. Now you will see me on Jet Nerdy. You of course will see me try my best there. You do see me at Question of Trek, and I had a great time with the panel there last week, and that was fun. And also, like I said, I live in Canada, so I will sometimes apologize because my server or troubles usually come from that. So, but I do try my best to stay with the program and be with everyone, and I enjoy everybody. Like everyone has been so kind to me, and I feel honored. I feel treasured and honored that my opinions matter, and that in any of these things I've done with gorillas and pop and so forth. So yeah, that's where I go.
Well, cool, and everyone's welcome and appreciated here. So you've come to the right place.
Thank you.
So thank you, Mikey, and I appreciate your input and helping us out tonight on the panel. We don't get
Oh,
a
well,
lot of
thank you
help
for
on the
having me.
Gilligan's Island panel, so this is pretty unique. So thank you.
Well, if you need me for future Gilligan's Island chats, let me know. I will
Well,
definitely, or when I
we'll
pop
be
in.
here.
Yeah,
We'll be
yeah.
here every Tuesday, and a shout out to
Wednesday.
everybody. Yep, thank you. I'm so tired. Wednesday, thank you.
Wednesday at 8 p.m.
If anybody hears from PvP, tell him to hit me up. I'm kind of concerned. I haven't heard from him in a couple days, and usually I hear from him. So I hope everything's okay with him. So with that, further ado, I want to show this here. Lemon Pie says, thanks, Pop Gorilla, and for the chat. Thank you, Lemon Pie. And Oleg Greg says, cheers. And we're getting ready to close this up. So I want to bless you, everybody in the chat. Thank you, guys. You're the ones that make this such a wonderful show. If you haven't subbed to my channel, please consider it. If you're watching this on the rerun, I hope you enjoyed it. And you're welcome to fast forward and skip through the tangents. I'm still working on trying to shorten those. So I'm sorry that we had 2 half-hour episodes turn into 2 hours and 50 minutes. But as you can tell, it's our enthusiasm and our love for this show which causes things like that to happen. And it inspires us to think about more things and bring that into the conversation. So thank you, Gorilla, and thank you, Mikey, and everybody in the chat. And I urge you all to have a wonderful night and drive safe. I know a lot of you work, and once again, I know your time is very valuable to you. And the fact that you came here and spent it with me tonight really helps me out, and it makes me feel really special. And I look forward to these streams all the time. You guys are like the best, and
With
I'm
each
not
other,
just saying that.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good night, everybody. Take care.